Good afternoon and welcome. We are back here for the 2022 Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash featuring Ultra 4 Racing and American Pro Rock Racing, presented by Mid-America Outdoors. I am Miles Hasquist. Alongside me is Mrs. Pam Hall, and we are about to kick off the 4400 Unlimited race. Pam, this is going to be a good one.
This is definitely going to be a good one. I'm wondering about the lap times, as we've been talking about all day long, how these are going to compare to the UTVs, but being a wider vehicle, a heavier vehicle, not as nimble as a UTV.
Power to weight plays a huge factor in a lot of things, but I think what was it, Jamie McCoy with a 1310? I think we're going to see something just shy of a 13. We saw Lauren Healy and Paul Wolf last, a few weeks ago really turn it on. So I think we could really sneak in there. And remember, Paul, he started on the pole in the Can-Am. He started on the pole here with his UFO in the 4400. So he's got something really going on good. I expect to see good things from him. So let's kind of run down who we have. So on the pole position, getting those 7 points yesterday from qualifying was 2-8, Paul Wolf.
Oh, and in that second position, let me get my paper out straight here, is Mr. Josh Blyler here in the number 41.
In third position, Casey Gilbert, number 618.
In number 4 is the 25 of Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Number 408, Cody Hardesty.
And in that sixth position, the 906 of Tad Dowker.
In seventh spot, 46, Rusty Blyler, the Happy Pappy.
And in that eighth position, the 270 of Brian McVeigh.
And in ninth position, the 4046, Christopher Branton.
And in that ninth position, the 4046 of Christopher Branton.
And in that 10th position, number 4, Chip McLaughlin.
And in the 11th position, number 47 of Philip McGilton.
In 12th position, 456, Chad Hunt.
And in that 13th position, the 911 of Kevin Taylor.
In 14th position, 178, Aaron Smith.
And in that 15th position, the 4423 of Frank Vonderheide.
In 16th position, Mr. Rufus Racing, number 24, Zandy Willems.
And in that 17th position, Mr. Robert King, the number 124.
In 18th position is Liam Morris.
And in the 4426, in that 19th position, is Kyle Hathaway taking the driver's seat from Kevin Porterfield today.
Yeah, Kevin Porterfield got sick, so his co-driver's actually hopping in, so cool to see that. And last but not least, number 553, Daryl Kresbach. So we've got roughly 20 unlimited cars taking the line. But like I said, up front we have Paul Wolf, Josh Blyler, Casey Gilbert, Vaughn Gittin Jr., Cody Hardesty, Tad Dowker, Rusty Blyler, Brian McVeigh, Christopher Branton, Chip McLaughlin. It is a stacked field in that top 10. It's going to be a lot of fun to see.
Definitely a stacked field for sure. We've had people out there, like we said, Paul Wolf was already out there in the UTV class. Vaughn Gittin Jr. just won in the 4600 class, so it's like they've had more seat time again today.
And that's super helpful because I was talking to Eric Davis, Vaughn Gittin's co-driver, and he said it's getting slip and sloppy out there. So some of these, like you're saying, natural springs are filling up these mud puddles, and they're kind of just spreading all over the place.
Right. Exactly.
So we'll see how this shakes out, but I am super excited. Again, we are here live at Rush, Kentucky. This off-road park is over 7,000 acres, over 100 miles of trails. We will be racing 6 laps, so a 37.8 miles total race, 6.3 miles per lap. This is going to be one to watch. Last year this race was 8 miles, but this year is 6.3, and it's a lot more technical. So we'll see how it shakes out, but I expect to see some amazing, amazing racing, just like we've already seen today. And then at 4 p.m. Eastern time, we'll kick off the 170 race, and then tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll do the America Pro Rock Racing.
Yeah, it's definitely a day filled full of lots of action around here. There are people already lined up with their chairs over here for the rock bouncers, trying to get those prime spots so they can see it perfectly tonight. But I think there's not going to be really a bad spot over in our spectator area because the hill is so steep that they're going to be going up. I'm excited to see that.
And then I believe there's a bounty hill across the way we'll see later on tonight as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned in. We're just a few moments away. I think we're going live any second with Mr. Paul Wolf.
You can hear the motors revving up. Not sure if that's him or they're just keeping him warm. I actually just saw one of our safety course going up this hill, going to get in place. So momentarily we'll be going hot.
There's Liam O'Donnell, number 23, our USAC rep, walking around, making sure everything's safe and sound. We'll have JT Taylor, our race director, down there directing everything, making sure everything's going smooth. And so far, so good. It's been a great day of racing, and it is not over yet.
By far over. This race right here is definitely, all of them have been one to watch, but this one right here is the one that everybody always wants to watch. The crowd's gotten bigger out there. You at home, that are watching from your computers or your TVs on YouTube or Facebook, like Miles always says, share and start a watch party, and let's get this sport growing bigger and bigger.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. These are the Swiss Army knives of off-road. We race King of the Hammers, Moab, Crandon, Mid-America Outdoors, Tennessee, Kentucky. Huge rocks, mountains, short course, tight trees, water crossings, mud desert, whoops, jumps. These cars can do it all and do it all well. So let's take a quick look at the course we're going to be racing all day long. So we're right in the middle there at the start finish. Then we run this race clockwise, and we go. You see race mile 1, race mile 2. There's 8 either ors, and then there at Big Edna is the Recaro Rise. We have a live camera there, and then at race mile 5 we have another live camera. And then we have our drones here in the Horseshoe Holler here at the start finish. So it's going to be a lot of action. I hope you've been tuned in and stay tuned in, because, again, this is the Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash presented by Mid-America Outdoors.
You found it?
And don't forget, if you've never raced with us here at Ultra 4, the first round is on us at a regional race. So if you never came out, come out. We'll waive your entry fee for the first time. And speaking about entry fees, we have lowered the entry fee. We have raised the payouts. Jason and Gayla Robinette have really done some great things here in the short time they have had it. So it seems like everybody's really digging the new trend, and I think it's just going to be a great partnership all the way through everything.
For sure. It's been awesome. The racer appreciation dinner that they do on Friday nights before the race, everybody gets to sit there and, chit-chat and have dinner together and some desserts. And there's amazing chef Don. He actually is the chef at Mid-America. He has been coming out to all the races, and he's the one who cooks all of the food for us out here.
Yeah, he's been doing an amazing job, and we have live bands both nights. Tonight we'll end up the night with some live music as well. We have our MAO fire pits over there, so it's just a spectacle of a thing. Can't wait to keep this party going.
Yes, and you can hear all the engines in the background. They're just making sure they're all warmed up and ready to go. Sounds like we're just getting the course completely cleared. All the safety issues that we have to make sure is clear before we start the race, because today, where we're at, even though there is 7,000 acres of riding, sometimes people don't realize there's a race going on. So what they do is they just make sure course is clear, because the race course trails are closed to the public today during our race.
It's been an amazing journey so far today, and like I said, it's only going to get better. This is the 4,400 Unlimited race. These are the biggest and baddest names in our sport, and top of the box that's getting ready to take off is Mr. Paul Wolf. Just making sure the course is safe and clear. They will be racing 6 laps, 6.3 miles per lap. They will take off in 30-second increments, so it's a 37.8-mile race. Lots of chatter.
Go ahead.
Lots of chatter through the Rugged Race radios, making sure the course is clear. Sounds like you said, they're trying to just double check, make sure these racers have a clean course to race on.
Exactly. And let's see, we were talking earlier with Mr. Paul Wolf being on the pole again, getting out there and getting that clean air right off the bat. It definitely paid off in the UTV race earlier. He did come up on lap traffic. But
and remember, he's fresh off. He's trying to back up his win from Moab. Paul Wolf is on a mission, but he has Mr. Josh Blyler, a former king at King of the Hammers, right behind his tail. So I was talking to Paul the other day, and he's excited to start out front, but he's a little nervous also because you don't have somebody else's dust to pace yourself on.
Exactly, for sure. And when you see that dust too, it obviously, you're looking at it, you're eyeballing it, and you're wanting to, catch that dust.
So last year in 2021 at this race, 1 year ago, Josh Blyler was the top of the box. Then it was Eric Miller, who is not here, and then Kevin Porterfield, who is here, but he has got his co-driver filling in for him since he can't make the race. So can Josh Blyler back up his win? It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight to the finish. So while we wait to start this race, let's give some of our amazing partners some love. Can-Am, Ford, Bronco, Monster Energy, Optima, 4 Wheel Parts, Progressive, Mid-America Outdoors, the Off-Road Syndicate, Holly EFI, LaserNut, Griffin, VP Racing Fuels, Nitto, King Shocks, Ultimax Belts, and King of the Hammers. So please support who supports the sport. Without all these wonderful partners, we would not be racing here in Rush, Kentucky today. And there's a great shot of Paul Wolf giving the camera a thumbs up. The Believe Cam FPV drones are here flying. It's going to be a great day.
It's
There's
super
Josh
awesome.
Blyler, then Casey Gilbert.
Casey Gilbert, I'm excited to see what he does in the 4400 class, because as we have Cade Rod, who stepped up also from the 48 into the 4400 class, has done amazing. He's done an absolutely amazing job.
And we were talking earlier, I don't think he's got that much of a disadvantage. We see Vaughn Gittin Jr. there with Fun Haver off-road team right there with Eric Davis riding shotgun. There's Cody Hardesty, then Tad Dowker.
So what's really cool about all of these drivers that are out there right now, when they do come across and they come to the podium, they can go directly over to our merchandise trailer where Tristan is sitting, and they get their checks for their payouts. And
Yeah,
we pay
right
out
here,
through
right
the
now.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the top 5 get paid out. So to the drivers that are here or the pit crew, remind your crew and remind your drivers to go on over there and get your check, because you can get that right before you leave here today.
Yeah,
They're ready for you.
It's a great thing. And speaking of that, the Mid-American Ultra 4 swags over there at the main tent, they've got lots of stuff. I see Busted Knuckle. I see Team Funhaver, RCVs here.
Off-Road Vixens.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, look at all these people. This is a great shot.
It is awesome. And you can see right there on the bottom left, that's where a lot of people have came and set up their chairs, because they were asking about what time, it was going to start later on, but they have their chairs all set up, and those are going to be full, and they're going to be watching the 4400s here momentarily.
So the 22 series points and championship, I'll kind of give you a quick rundown on that. First place, you get 1,000 points. Second place, you get 975. Third place, you get 965. Fourth on down gets 5 less points, but you must complete 2/3 of the race. 7 points to the fastest qualifier per class yesterday during qualifying. The West and East Championship, most points from Visions, Nationals, and then your East or West is how you get your national championship. And then we go for the national points. It's King of the Hammers, double points. Visions, double points. Nationals, double points. And then pick any 2 from regional races, and that's how we crown our national champion. And out of this race, each top 10 racer that finishes that is not already qualified for King of the Hammers gets qualified for King of the Hammers 2023. Some of our general rules are driver of record must start or finish each race. Drivers are allowed 1 substitute driver per season. Driver must race the same car they qualify in. Minimum age limit is 16 years old unless there's some proven experience and you have to go directly to JT for that. Ultra 4 is a no-chase race. Only people that can help you are MAO or Ultra 4 safety crew or fellow competitors. On this race, you have to stay within 25 feet of either side of the race course. And then we also have some Ford contingency. If you run a Ford Clip or Hood, you get $1,000. If you run that and Ford Performance Engine, you get $2,000 if you win your class.
That's awesome for them to come on board and do that. That's been a couple years now they have done that, and it's awesome for the racers that are running, as long as they do make sure they go and they fill out the paperwork and get qualified for it.
Yep, go to that Ford contingency, sign up, and take home some cash. Sounds like we still have a couple side-by-sides we're trying to chase down out on course, trying to make everything safe and sound for our drivers. So make sure you go to the MAO app, download it. We have that on Google and Apple. Go to ultra4racing.com/live. Get on the Ultra 4 or MAO Facebook or YouTubes. Share it. Start a watch party. Hashtag it up. And Pam's watching the live.ultra4racing.com for the live timing.
Yes,
So
we'll keep you up to date on that as much as possible if you're not watching it, but you are able to watch exactly what Miles and I are seeing here at Rush, Kentucky, in the middle of nowhere.
And speaking about Rush is in the tri-state intersection of Ohio, West Virginia, and North Kentucky, just outside of Ashland. Rush Off-Road has more than 7,000 acres, over 100 miles of trails, open 7 days a week. Season passes are $99. You can get a week pass for $45, or it's $30 per day. Special events not included. And park owner EB and his staff are absolutely amazing. The elevation here is roughly 2,400 feet. Population is 2,700. And again, we want to thank all of our safety crew, our volunteers, our park staff, and MAO and Ultra 4.
And here it got quiet behind us. They are going to still work on making sure that those side-by-sides are clear before we start our race. So everyone's cooling off their motors here for just a moment, probably cooling themselves off as well.
So we'll start here at the – go ahead, Pam.
We were sitting here quiet for just a moment. That doesn't ever happen. I'm excited to see these cars, and like if Paul Wolf, for instance, earlier he just kept taking that left line on that either or where there is the Rush underpass. I'm excited to see if he's going to stick to his consistency.
I'll bet you Paul takes that left line, but the more popular line is that left line. And we were talking with Zandy Willems up here earlier today, and he was saying, yeah, the right line seems smoother, but Paul Wolf keeps taking that left line. What are we missing?
Right, exactly.
So that goes into that strategy. It goes into that pre-running.
Yep.
It shows you how important all that is.
Exactly. And a lot of these people, they came out here and they pre-ran multiple times. Like Paul Wolf, he pre-running not only in his Can-Am, but he's also been out there in his 4400, making sure he could get the feel of the race course, not at race speed, because you could not pre-run at race speed. There was a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit, but making sure he got the feel of the course in both cars, see which lane might be better for him, because obviously the Can-Am is a lot narrower than his 4400.
So we're going to start here at the start-finish and then go directly to the Bronco Hill, up and over the Rigid Ridge. And then we go through about 4 miles of racing. Then we hit the Rocaro Rise there at Big Edna. And then come on down the Yukon Launch, and then you have the option to go into the Amsoil hot pits. There is a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit through the hot pits. You have to come all the way through and around to use the pits. That way it doesn't give anybody an advantage or disadvantage there in the Amsoil hot pits. Sounds like they're still trying to chase down a couple UTVs that breached the course, so we definitely want a safe course for these drivers to race on. So I apologize for the delay, but we are absolutely doing our best.
We still have that little bit of a breeze going out there, which is great for everybody in the pits for the dust area. They were trying to do a little bit of watering before this race happened over here in the hot pits, but it's warm out here, and this is very silty, so of course the water evaporates very quickly.
So we are here in Rush, Kentucky for the first Eastern Series race. Up next will be our second Western Series race, May 13th and 14th in Folsom, California at the Prairie City SVRA. And then we will go into our second Eastern race, June 17th through the 19th at South Pittsburgh, Tennessee at the AOP Park. And then a race you do not want to miss is Visions Off-Road at Mid-America Outdoors in Jay, Oklahoma. That is an East and a Western Series race, July 13th through the 17th. And then we'll head out for our third Western Series race, August 5th through the 7th in Sturgis, South Dakota for the Black Hills Throwdown at the Buffalo Chip. And then we'll have our third Eastern Series race, September 2nd through the 4th in Crandon, Wisconsin at the Big House. And then we'll wind up the year for Legends of the Fall at Mid-America Outdoors at Disney, Oklahoma and Jay, Oklahoma for the Nationals, October 26th through the 30th. And next weekend we'll kick off our second MAO Side-by-Side Championship Series, April 30th. And then our third race will be May 28th and 29th. Our fourth race will be June 18th. Our fifth race, July 16th. Our sixth race, September 3rd and 4th. Our seventh race, October 1st. Our eighth race will be with Legends of the Fall and everything else, October 29th.
It's a year full.
Yep, that is at Mid-America Outdoors for the Side-by-Side Championship Series. So it's going to be a great year of racing.
And you want to talk about the 170 class here. We only have, I think, like we said, 5 registered. At MAO Side-by-Side Championship Series, there are multiple cars and multiple classes because there's 170 modifieds, and they split them up by age groups. It's a very, very large class to see.
There's a jam-packed racing. There's multiple heats, multiple races. It's a lot of action all happening at the same time.
It's a lot of fun. The kids love it. They're doing great out there. It's definitely awesome to sit there and watch them race because they are the future of the sport. They'll one day be in these bigger cars, the bigger UTVs, possibly into the 4400 cars.
Yeah, it's great to see how the sport has evolved. The Mid-America Outdoor and Ultra 4 team has done one heck of a job this season thus far, and we are just getting started.
Sounds like they might have located the side-by-sides that are on course.
So again, let's give some of our amazing partners some love once again. Can-Am, Ford, Bronco, Monster, Optima, 4 Wheel Parts, Progressive, Mid-America Outdoors, and the Off-Road Syndicate, as well as Holly, Lasernut, Griffin, VP, Nitto, King, Ultimax, and King of the Hammers. So please support who supports the sport. It looks like we are about to kick off. JT Taylor, our race director, is getting ready to send out Paul Wolf, number 218.
Just heard over Rugged Radio. It is going
3,
hot.
2, 1. Paul Wolf is off. Number 218 out of Brighton, Illinois with Wolf Racing. He's in a 2018 Joe Thompson built UFO single seat IFS machine. LSX 434, ATO 4L80E, SCST case, Raceline wheels, Spider Tracks, Radflow, BFG, PRP, and RCV.
And next off the line is going to be the number 41 of Josh Blyler.
Out of Klingerstown, Pennsylvania with Jared Erdman riding shotgun, a prior King of the Hammers winner with Big B Motorsports. He's in a Miller Motorsports Pro chassis, Matco LS7, Tranny Tom Turbo 400, Atlas, Spider Tracks, Method, Nitto, Fox, and Sparco.
And next off the line will be the 618 of Mr. Casey Gilbert.
He has just recently stepped into the 4400 class. Casey Gilbert with Nature Boy Nate riding shotgun out of Fenton, Michigan. Gilbert Brothers Racing, Miller Pro chassis, Texas Speed LS7, Tranny Tom Turbo 400, Atlas, Spider Tracks, Nitto, Method, Fox, and Impact.
All right, and after Mr. Casey Gilbert goes off the line, which he just did, will be the number 25 of Von Gittin Jr.
With Eric Davis riding shotgun out of Concord, North Carolina with Funhaver Off-Road Team. He's in a Triton Engineering 2-seat IFS Brocky 2.0, Ford Performance 460 D3 780 horsepower, Gearworks Turbo 400, Spider Tracks, RCV with Portals, Fox Shocks, Nitto, Monster Energy, Optima, MBRP, VP, Warren, Factor 55, Rugged, Shell, Project X Lights, Holly, Recaro, Gear Wrench, and Centerline Wheels.
And that's a great shot right there of Von Gittin Jr.
As he's taking his Bronco up the Bronco Hill, and then he'll take a left here and go across the Rigid Ridge.
All right, and next off the line is going to be the 408 of Cody Hardesty.
Out of Louisville, Kentucky with Hardesty Racing. He's in a TMR chassis, straight axle machine, LS 408, Turbo 400, SCST case, PRP seats, ADS shocks, Maxxis, and KMC wheels.
And he is off the line. Next off after him will be the 906 of Tad Dowker.
Out of Quaddon, Michigan with North Shore Raceworks. He's in a Trent Fab solid axle machine with Dominic riding shotgun. It's got an LSX 454, Reed Turbo 400, Atlas, Spider Tracks, Fox, Mickey Thompson tires, Raceline, and Sparco seats.
All right, and now next up on the line is the number 46 of Rusty Blyler.
The Happy Pappy with Shane Erdman riding shotgun out of Klingerstown, Pennsylvania with Big B Motorsports. He's in a Miller Motorsports Pro chassis, Mapco LS7, Tranny Tom Turbo 400, Atlas, Spider Tracks Method, Nitto, Fox, and Sparco.
He is off the line. Next up will be the 270 of Brian McVeigh.
Out of St. Charles, Ohio with 270 Motorsports. He's in a wide open design, solid axle chassis, Jeff Ginter race engine, Maximum Turbo 400, Atlas, Spider Tracks, Nitto, PRP, Factor 55, trail ready wheels, Radflow shocks, tuned by Mr. Phil Licciardi with Liberty Mountain Fab.
All right, and after Brian McVeigh, we will have the 4046 of Christopher Branton.
Christopher Branton out of Bossier City, Louisiana with Ryan Webb riding shotgun. With Upside Down Racing, he's in a Jimmy's 2-seat IFS chassis, LSX 427, Turbo 400, Hero TK, Spider Tracks, Raceline wheels, Fox, and USD stickies. Remember, this race is on adjusted time. They're taking off in 30-second increments.
His tires are amazing.
Those are big tires
Those
for
are
sure.
thick
And look,
tread.
he's heading that left line. I like the difference of that. Most everybody's taking that immediate right and going up the Bronco Hill, but he's heading straight up and using those USD stickies going up the Rigid Ridge.
Oh, look at that. It is a smoother line once you get up to the top.
It's a lot it's a lot shorter distance if you can make it quick.
Exactly. And so next on the line is the number 4 of Mr. Chip McLaughlin.
with Brad Christensen riding shotgun out of Corinth, Texas with Rufus Racing. He's in a Tribe 16 2C IFS machine. Thompson Motorsports 440 LS7 with 800 horsepower. Turbo 400, Atlas, Spider Tracks, Vision, Maxxis, Fox, Corbo, sponsored by Eco Earthworks, Baja Design, and Nightsticks.
And then next off the line will be the number 47 of Philip McGilton.
Out of Mingo Junction, Ohio with V&L Motorsports. He's in a 2020 Jimmy's 4x4 two-seat straight axle machine. He recently purchased this from Derek West. It's got an LS 427, ATI Turbo 400, Hero TK, Spider Tracks, Yukon, Radflow, Nitto, and Vivid Lumen Industries. He used to race ARCA and Craftsman Truck Series with NASCAR, so it's cool to see him transfer over to Ultra 4 in Mid-America Outdoors.
And there are a few NASCAR drivers that came from the dirt and transferred over to NASCAR. So next off the line will be the 456 of Chad Hunt.
With his buddy Rick riding shotgun out of Plymouth, Indiana with Hunt's Motorsports. This thing rips. It's a 2022 Miller Pro chassis, Dart LS 427 with a supercharger, 4L80E trans, SCS, Spider Tracks, Fox, Nitto, Raceline, and PRP. Chad was nice enough to take me for a lap around the qualifying course yesterday, and that car is amazing. Those Miller cars are something to see. It's really cool.
That is awesome. And then next off the line will be the very distinctive car of the 911 of Kevin Taylor.
With Heath Day riding shotgun out of Texarkana, Texas with Knockout Racing. He's in a Dazed Fabrication Porsche-themed Bouncer Ultra 4 chassis, LS3 416, Turbo 400, SCS T-case, 14 bolts front and rear, ORI struts, Go Forth Interco tires, Vision wheels, PRP seats, and custom splice.
And then on the line you see right there is the 178 of Aaron Smith.
Aaron Smith in that Bomber chassis. He's got a CBM LS motor, BFG tires, Raceline wheels, and King shocks. See, that's the only Bomber chassis out on course today. We'll see how he can do out in the woods.
And then next up will be the 4423 of Frank Vonderheide.
Frank Vonderheide out of Scranton, Arkansas with STT Racing. He's in a Jimmy's 4x4 podium chassis, Rogers Race Engines 383 stroker, Turbo 400, Hero T-case, Method race wheels, Fox, Maxxis, and Corbo.
Next off the line is Rufus Racing, Mr. Zandy Willems, the number 24.
Out of Allen, Texas, Mr. Rufus Racing himself with Rufus Racing in a Tribe 16 two-seat solid axle machine called Nightmare. He's got a Thompson Motorsports 800 horsepower LS 440 LS7 800 horsepower. Got a Turbo 400 Atlas, Spider Tracks, Vision, Maxxis, RCV, Fox, Corbo, EcoWorks, Baja Design, and Nightsticks.
And then next off the line is supposed to be the 124 of Roger King.
They recently just picked up Raceline as one of their main sponsors. They were pretty excited about that. Out of Sparta, Tennessee with Team Robbie Bobby. Their first Ultra 4 race was King of the Hammers 2012.
It's actually number 40, so Roger King is not going off the line next. It's Liam Morse.
Liam Morse in that Jimmy's chassis with an LSX Mickey Thompson Raceline wheels and Radflow shocks.
And then last off the line right now that we have is the 4426 of Kyle Hathaway.
Filling in for Kevin Porterfield, who got third last year, number 4426 out of St. Clairsville, Ohio with Porterfield Motorsports. In a wide open designs two-seat IFS chassis, Jeff Ginter race engine, Maximum Turbo 400, Atlas, Spider Tracks, PRP, Nitto, RCV, Liberty Mountain Fab, Radflow shocks.
All right, it looks like everybody is off the line, so we did not have Roger King in the 124 or the 553 of Daryl Krebsbach.
So I believe we have 18 cars out on course for this 6 laps, 6.3 miles per loop at 37.8 mile race. I believe we'll finish this race in just under an hour and a half as we see Kyle Hathaway driving for Kevin Porterfield across the Rigid Ridge as we speak from this high and wide drone.
The drone footage is awesome. And like we were saying yesterday in qualifying, it's awesome that we're having it right now in the springtime because the leaves aren't all the way on the trees,
Yeah,
so we can see the
everything.
course.
And here comes a Blyler. I believe that is Josh Blyler,
Josh is 41,
a
yes.
former king. So he is really making some moves. I wasn't sure. I wasn't watching as Paul Wolf came through, Pam.
I'm not sure. I have not seen. I only saw him just now as well.
If you are just tuning in, we thoroughly appreciate each and every one of you that is on site and tuned in from back home for the 2022 Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash featuring Ultra 4 and American Pro Rock Racing presented by Mid-America Outdoors. There's Paul Wolf, I believe, on screen in that UFO Joe Thompson built machine.
So did he get passed then by Blyler?
We will
or is
see
he...
shortly. There's Blyler right there. So remember,
Okay.
30-second increments, so they're going to be super close on time. And this is a Josh Blyler course through and through, but Paul Wolf is no slouch. So it's going to be – Josh is going to have to work at it, but Paul's going to have to earn it.
I wasn't sure what section he was in, so I couldn't tell if he had already passed Paul or not. But Paul's definitely dust-free right now out front and on a mission, of course, as we know from this morning. And Moab, he's going to be racing every single race. He's going for the championship. And how awesome is that to be coming from this rock bouncing world? UTV, he does the everything at King of the Hammers, but now he's in the 4400s.
Yeah, it's great to see how quick and far he's going with this, and I think his future is bright here in Ultra 4. And
Definitely.
he races the side-by-side series at Mid-America Outdoors, but he says he is focusing on Ultra 4 and really is trying to grow his race team.
Yes.
And there comes Casey Gilbert in the screen.
Because there are a couple of our races do overlap the same weekend, so he, having to make a choice, he's going to have to make a choice of Ultra 4 because he is going for that championship.
And Vaughn Gittin Jr. is hot on Casey Gilbert's tail. So on adjusted time, Vaughn Gittin Jr. is faster than Casey Gilbert right now. And between Paul Wolf and Josh Blyler is anybody's guess.
Lots of people tuning in to Facebook. Thank you guys for doing that. Make sure you're rooting on your people that you're wanting to root on and chiming in. Sharing the page, sharing the live feed.
There's Tad Dowker as we speak, heading up.
They are going up that hill a lot faster than any other vehicle. But
well, these are the unlimited cars with unlimited horsepower, unlimited suspension, unlimited tires.
Well, we have motor sound in the background, so let's see who
that's Cody
going to be.
Hardesty coming into screen. So we'll get you some lap times here very shortly because we expect to see Paul Wolf coming through soon as that is Rusty Blyler getting a little two-wheel action up the Recaro Rise out at Big Edna. Got one of our camera gals up in a tree stand there. Really cool to see. Believe that's Tad Dowker coming into sight.
He was talking about they were going to try to race that 918 race that ended up having to get canceled because of the ice storm, and they had their car in Arizona, and they were going to, drive it through, race it at Oklahoma, and go head on home. And then all the schedule changed because of the ice storm. But here they are. They're excited to be here racing. We have somebody coming in
and
here.
That is Mr. Paul Wolf, our physical race leader, hitting the Yukon launch as we speak.
That looks like the same way he did that drop yesterday in qualifying.
Make sure you go to live.ultra4racing.com for the live timing. What is it? I'm going to say that's sub 13 minutes.
It is 12:55.309.
Wow.
You like how I hide my screen
Wolf,
from you?
Yes. 12:55 for Paul Wolf.
Wow.
How far back is Josh Blyler?
We shall see here in a minute because Josh, you could see he was on it. There is Mr. Josh Blyler right there.
Dropping down the Yukon launch. That's probably going to be a 13:10 or so.
I don't know. He's pretty close. I'm waiting for timing to update here. It'll take just a second.
Remember, they took off in 30-second increments. This race is on adjusted time.
We will get the time on Josh Blyler here shortly.
What a great day of racing thus far, and it is not even close to being over. We had just started the 4400 Unlimited class for the 2022 Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash featuring
look at
Ultra
that.
4 presented by Mid-America Outdoors.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Mr. Josh Blyler came through with a 12:52.774 in that number one position over Paul Wolf.
Josh Blyler on adjusted time. is chasing down Paul Wolf, and that's exactly what Paul was a little nervous about, is not being able to see some of these dusts to see how hard he's pushing. But I know that he's probably seeing Josh in the background on a couple of these turns.
And Casey Gilbert just came through with a 13:26. That is not a bad run so far for Casey Gilbert.
But it was a 13:10 fastest, and we've already shaved off 18 seconds. Here comes Vaughn Gittin Jr. with Fun Haver Off-Road Team and Eric Davis.
And he just came through with a 13:09, so that put him in the third position on adjusted time, and Casey Gilbert in that fourth position. So it's going to be back and forth, I think, all day long on the timing here for the race. And you can see over here on the rigid ridge, you have Casey Gilbert there, but Vaughn Gittin is not too far behind him. He's definitely pushing to catch up. And you have the split right there. That's one of those either ors.
That's Chris Branton, I believe, with Ryan Rebsch riding shotgun with those big USD stickies. And that is Chip Happens, Mr. Chip McLaughlin, right behind Branton.
Let's see what Chip
Branton
does.
goes left. I'll bet you Chip goes right. Yes, he does.
Well, there's that option.
There are 8 either-ors on this 6.3-mile lap. They are doing 6 laps, so it's a 37.8-mile race.
And Cody Hardesty just came through the finish line at the number 408 of Cody at 13:29.039.
There goes Philip McJilton heading through. And here is Tad Dowker.
Tad Dowker, he is in the fourth position right now with a 13:15.645. So right now we have Josh Blyler in that number 1 position. Paul Wolf
on adjusted
time. Paul Wolf in number 2. Vaughn Gittin Jr. in that 3rd position. Tad Dowker 4th. Casey Gilbert 5th. Cody Hardesty in 6th position on adjusted time. They're not physically on course like that, but adjusted time puts them in that position. Great shot right there of that. I call that a hairpin U-turn, whatever you want to call that.
I believe that's Cody Hardesty making his way up.
And there is Rusty Blyler just came through.
Rusty Blyler, the happy pappy, just sent it down the Yukon launch.
Let's see what Rusty's time is. Well, Rusty Blyler in that 6th position with a 13:26.657. So that puts Cody Hardesty in the 7th position. We'll see how these times pan out. We'll see. Paul Wolf now has to step his game up even more because Josh Blyler is nipping at his heels already.
A great shot from our FPV Believe Cam drone chasing these drivers through the woods.
Look at that. You can see both sides of race course right now.
And look, the dust is definitely getting thick out there.
Larger tires, bigger dust storm.
Yeah, and just faster cars as
right,
well.
Exactly. Right there, that's where they come through, and they're back on that pipeline road.
Christopher Branton, if I'm not mistaken.
So they'll come up and they'll make a 90 right-hand turn right up here in just a moment.
They're on this power line road really hauling the mail, and then, yeah, a hard 90 right, and they'll be heading back here to the Horseshoe Hauler.
That was a nice drop on the Yukon launch. Mr. Brian McVeigh at a 14:24.75.
So a very respectful run for 270 Motorsports, Brian McVeigh. So we have our top 8 through their first lap, heading out on lap 2. This is about a mile and a half out, and it looks like a Rufus, so that must be Zandy with that straight axle machine in Nightmare. Still going around that broken Can-Am. And just behind Zandy is Kyle Hathaway driving for Kevin Porterfield in that wide open design. Beautiful built machine by Adam Woodley. So here's Vonderheide. Yes, the 4423 of Frank Vonderheide with STT Racing. Here's Chris Branton getting ready to drop down the Yukon launch.
His tires make him very distinctive.
Absolutely. Those are some big, sticky tires.
Yes.
If it was muddy, he'd have the advantage for sure. Here's Philip Magilton and Derek West's old car. And getting completely a little airtime hitting the Yukon launch. But on corrected time, it's still Josh Blyler, Paul Wolf, Vaughn Gittin Jr., Tad Dowker, Casey Gilbert, Rusty Blyler, Cody Hardesty, and Brian McVeigh. On adjusted time unofficially.
These guys are so much faster, too. They're doing 5 laps, correct?
6
laps. Okay, so 6 laps.
So it's a 37.8-mile race, 6.3 miles per lap, 6 laps.
So, trying to think. So about an hour.
Hour and a half or
hour
so.
And a half,
just
yeah.
shy of an hour and a half.
As
for
long,
our winners.
if the Paul Wolf keeps up with the lap times he has going on right now.
Or Josh Blyler.
Or Josh Blyler, you're correct.
But you can't count out anybody that's in the top 10
or Casey
yet,
Gilbert.
The attrition will start to set in for sure, and this will be a race to the finish. But to finish first you must finish.
Exactly. Lots of people chiming in.
Where from?
Tim Vassis said he's going to wear out the edge of his seat again today.
Yeah, we're going to have a great race.
Trey Moore was let her eat Paul Wolf.
Paul Wolf still out front physically, but I think it's 3 seconds splitting him and Josh Blyler.
You got Barbara McLaughlin saying, "Go Rufus Racing." Shirley Schooley, she just want to know how to get on YouTube. So if you download the MAO app and you click on streaming, it will actually take you directly to the YouTube channel for Mid-America to watch the live streaming. You also can go back on and watch old live streaming on that app as well, which is awesome because I know I like to go back and watch the races, and I know a lot of other people do the same thing. So going back and getting that app is definitely awesome to do.
Or get on the MAO or Ultra 4 Facebooks and share it, start a watch party. Let's blow this thing up. There's a lot of people back at home, and we just want to grow this sport, and so far we're doing a great job with it. Here comes Kevin Taylor and Heath Day in that 911 Porsche machine, Dazed Fabrication chassis. And right behind him is, so it looks like Logan is tuned in. Thank you, buddy. He's part of Big B Motorsports.
The pit guys up to 6 inches of snow here in the mountains of Colorado.
Oh,
they wish they were
I'm
here.
Jealous of that. Yeah, we're in 6 inches of sunshine here.
Yeah.
So you're missing out. But
we
I'm
might
glad
be
you're
in
tuned
6 inches of dirt here in a little while. That was Paul Wolf that we saw going up Big Edna just now.
Physical race leader still out front, but how far back is Josh Blyler coming up the Recaro Rise? Remember, they did take off in 30-second increments. And there's Josh Blyler right now. 3 seconds spread him a little while ago. We'll see how it does. But Josh Blyler.
That's not 30 seconds.
No. I think Josh Blyler's starting to gain on Paul Wolf just a little bit. But, Josh Blyler's grown up doing line mountain racing, which is this kind of racing. Tight woods trees. These Miller cars are known for that.
Exactly.
I'm not counting Paul Wolf out at all. But Josh Blyler, this is his terrain. So this should be Paul Wolf again dropping down.
And he has the very distinct, he's the only UFO car out here. So we definitely can know his car. And the mud right now hasn't been super bad, but it's definitely going to be a little bit of a factor for these cars as well. So
Paul Wolf and Vaughn Gittin Jr. both in IFS machines. Everybody else in the top 10 is running, most everybody is running a straight axle. And there comes Josh Blyler, a former King of the Hammers winner, with his buddy Jared Edmonds riding shotgun.
So we only have Chad Hunt and Liam Morris are the only two that have not came through to start their second lap so far.
We should have 18 cars out on course.
They're fairly close to each other.
I think this is going to be a very, very, very close race.
Oh, it's going to be a race to the finish for sure. Is this Chad Hunt? Yes, it is, number 456 with Team Indiana. I was chatting with him before the race, and they were just all smiles, and he's coming to a complete stop. Not sure what's going on. Tough break for Chad Hunt and Rick, his buddy, riding shotgun. He's supposed to be taking a left here, so I'm not sure if he just got a little turned around or what's going on. We don't want him to hit our camera guy out there.
That's why they all have safety vests on, and that's why I was like, wait a minute, that's not the right way if we see a safety vest. But it's one of those things when you're driving and you're like just going and you get focused and maybe just accidentally made that wrong
It's
turn right there.
It's amazing what these cars can do. I call them the Swiss Army knife of off-road racing. They can race King of the Hammers, Moab, Crandon, MAO, Tennessee, Kentucky, huge rocks, mountains, short course, tight trees, water crossings, mud, desert, whoops, and jumps. These cars can do it all and do it all well.
That's a great shot right there. What I was talking about earlier, before they make that 90 right, if they were to keep going straight, it's almost like a straight downhill and straight uphill, and people go out there and ride that. Definitely
And
not
look-
a part of race course.
And look how many people are here. This is the 7th year in a row we've had a sellout crowd here for the 10th annual anniversary bash featuring Ultra 4 America Pro Rock Racing, presented by Mid-America Outdoors. There's Vaughn Gittin Jr.
And he's taking that right-hand lane. He went to the Rush Underpass.
He took the left lane in his stock Bronco,
did.
but he's taking that right lane in his big Bronco. Oh, I see Roger King with Robbie Bobby pulling out, so I'm not sure what happened with him. Tough break for those guys. Hate to see Team Robbie Bobby pulling out early in the race.
For sure, and they did not make a lap, so something must have happened right off the start. I mean, because they did, actually, it's not even a starting time for them.
Tough break. And there's Paul Wolf, our physical race leader. I am super stoked to see the split times between Paul Wolf and Josh Blyler. And, Vaughn Gittin isn't too far out of the mix, but 3 seconds on that first lap. Woo, it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. He's going to have to do a 90 right into a 90 left, and he's taking that shorter line almost every single time because, the shorter line of sight is faster. But he is going on the right-hand side. And that was his fastest lap time of a 12:43, 2:32.
So he has stepped it up even just a little bit more. And here
here's
is
Josh.
Josh Blyler. He's going to be even faster. He sees Paul's dust. He is after Paul's dust. And look at it. He completely skips the Yukon launch. Josh Blyler is on a mission trying to chase down Paul Wolf. But on adjusted time, Paul Wolf's got him by 9 seconds. Wow. I didn't see that coming.
Josh has not updated
Oh,
quite
he
yet.
hadn't updated. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's awesome. Josh Blyler, a 12:38, 2:52.
Wow, so he shaved even 5 seconds off of Paul Wolf. So Josh Blyler's really stepping up his game.
You know that they have their people on their radio telling them, hey, here's what the
Absolutely.
split is. You better step it up.
Yeah, we're listening to the race chatter on our rugged race radios. And, man, Paul Wolf and Josh Blyler putting on a show out front, number 1 and 2.
And they're out on lap 3 already. It's going by very fast for these guys.
Yeah, they're just shy. They're a 1/3 through their race. So
There
that's
is
Paul
Paul.
Horschel. Or sorry,
Paul
Paul
Wolf.
Wolf. Getting
You
my
were talking
Pauls
about Paul
mixed up.
Horschel earlier.
But Paul Wolf in that UFO single seat Joe Thompson built machine is slinging it through this this wide open section.
That's a rough section right there too. I mean, it looks smooth on the camera, but when you're out there and you're actually on the trail in a vehicle, it's very, very rough.
So Paul Wolf is really making some good time, but the fastest lap of the day thus far is 12:38, 2:52. And just reminding you, we will go live with the 170 race at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to tune in all day long. We are hot and heavy for the 4400 Unlimited race.
Casey Gilbert just went through. He stepped up his time to a 13:12.755 as his fastest lap. And there you just saw Vaughn Gittin Jr. come down that Yukon launch. So Vaughn Gittin Jr., he has a 13:11.125. So he knocked Casey Gilbert out of that spot, but
By 1 second?
by
Am I
1
reading that?
second. But, I mean, if you look at Josh Blyler and Paul Wolf, they're in the 12s.
There's Brian McVeigh heading up.
These guys are going to have to really step up their game if they're wanting to make sure, they're on the podium for sure.
Yeah, Josh Blyler is on a mission to back up his win from last year.
I believe that was Chip McLaughlin.
Obviously, Paul Wolf is has a great run going, but Josh Blyler does not want to give up his home turf. I
Definitely
believe that's
not.
Chris Branton. No, I'm going to be wrong on this one. That's a solid axle machine.
Cody Hardesty just came through with a 13:06.317. That puts him in the number 4 position.
So we saw Chad Hunt having issues earlier. Now he's in the AMSOIL hot pits. Not sure what's going on, but tough break for Chad Hunt. Jody, what's going on? You guys good or no?
Tad Dowker just came through. He's in that number 4 position on corrected time when he turned to 13:17.412. So right now we have in our that are out on their lap 3 is Josh Blyler in that number 1 spot, Paul Wolf number 2, Vaughn Gittin Jr. in 3rd, Tad Dowker 4th, Cody Hardesty 5th, and Casey Gilbert in that 6th position, all on adjusted time. Not physically in that on course, but on adjusted time.
So we've got a great shot of Chad Hunt right there, and I seen Joni Ford running by. He raced earlier today, part of Team Indiana. I said, hey, what's going on? They lost their power steering pump, so they got to go back to their trailer to get a pump to put it on. So I'm not saying their race is over, but it's not looking good for Chad Hunt. And that's a brand new car that just debuted at King of the Hammers. I hate seeing that bad luck for them. But, hey, the saying goes, that's racing.
And you definitely cannot do this race course without power steering.
No, it is super tight trees. But that Miller Motorsports car, they shine in the woods, as you can see. Mm-hmm. Josh Blyler really on his A game with Jared riding shotgun. And speaking about Miller Motor Cars, there was Rusty Blyler, the Happy Pappy.
He actually is slower by 20 seconds on that lap from his last lap. So a 13:46.547, but that puts him in that number 7 position. There we go. That's
on top of the Rigid Ridge.
That is Mr. Rusty Blyler.
Chasing down the brown car. And here's the Recaro Rise waiting for a car to come up. What a great day of racing it has been. Thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in for the 2022 Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash presented by Mid-America Outdoors. We are featuring Ultra 4 and America Pro Rock Racing. And that is going to be Aaron Smith in that bomber car.
We know that the bombers are good out at Hammers. See how it does in the woods. That's a McLaughlin, isn't it?
I couldn't tell if it was Chip or Zandy. It looks very similar. I think that was Chip McLaughlin.
Does Zandy have? I know Chip's number plate on the rear swings. Does Zandy's do the same thing?
I haven't picked that up. You're starting to pick up tricks I haven't even thought about.
I know we're both very observant, so feeding off each other makes it
it's
awesome
a win-win.
for up here.
I love working with you, Pam.
Me too. I love working with you. I think we always have a good time.
Oh, yeah. How can you not have a good time watching these amazing Ultra 4 drivers?
Exactly. And that is on screen. Who was that?
I'm going to guess it's Cody Hardesty, but that's a complete guess.
They're all brown.
And from the high angle, I can't even see the side profile, so can't tell what kind of chassis it is. But regardless, this drone is doing an amazing job with all these trees out here. It's pretty wild. But they're getting ready to drop down the Yukon launch. We'll get a visual.
I would say
and that is
Zandy.
McVeigh.
Is it? Oh, that's definitely not Zandy.
The dust is flying today. So there's Chip McLaughlin, Mr. Number 4 Chip Happens.
Chip McLaughlin just came through with a 13:43.229. So on adjusted time, we still have Josh Blyler in that number 1 spot with a 12:38.252. Paul Wolf, number 2, at a 12:43.232. Then in 3rd position, Vaughn Gittin Jr. 4th position, Tad Dowker. 5th position, Cody Hardesty. 6th is Casey Gilbert. 7 is Rusty Blyler. 8, Chip McLaughlin. And Mr. Brian McVeigh in that 9th position just came through with a 15:17.226. So he slowed down almost a full minute, so he must have had some issues out on course.
And obviously I was wrong just a moment ago about Brian McVeigh. And there is Kyle Hathaway driving for Kevin Porterfield in that beautiful built wide open machine.
I just saw that Can-Am that's out there on course. Did you see the front left?
Oh,
it was completely buckled.
Yeah, it's been like that all morning.
I haven't noticed what was wrong with it until
the
just
front
now.
tire's been completely ripped off of it.
Somebody had fun last night until they didn't.
They had too much fun from the looks of it. And remember, speaking about having too much fun, let's party up tonight. But at 12 midnight, there is a noise ordinance. So let's keep her down right around midnight. And that's Chris Branton with Ryan Rebs riding shotgun with those USD sticky tires.
And he just came through with a 15.15.764. And that is Porterfield, but I believe, or was that Philip McGilton?
That was Philip McGilton coming through just behind.
There we go, yes. And that puts him in the 9th position behind Chip McLaughlin at a 14:41.133.
And what was the time split between Paul Wolf and Josh Blyler? Looks like 5 seconds. That is pretty impressive.
Yes, 5 seconds.
And it looks like we just saw Paul Wolf go through the screen just a moment ago.
You can definitely hear that was.
And Josh Blyler is hot on his heels. If Josh Blyler can catch up to Paul Wolf, Paul's going to feel the heat and really having to start push. Remember, they did take off in 30-second increments. This race is on adjusted time, and we are just over the halfway mark.
That's such a great shot right there because she gets them coming down and then right on top of them and then follows them right up Big Edna. It's a great
Physical
shot.
race leader, Paul Wolf.
Yep. Let's see if I haven't noticed if he's been taking that same left line that he was doing earlier.
We're about to find out right now. And yes, he does. He takes that left line. Remember, there are 8 either-ors on this racetrack. We're doing 6 laps at 6.3 miles per lap. This is a 37.8-mile race. And we are
look at how close he's getting.
Yeah, we are just over halfway through, and Josh Blyler's really starting to reel in Paul Wolf. And you know that Paul sees him in the rear view. You know, Josh physically can see him from time to time, and Josh Blyler takes the right line here. Looks like that's Aaron Smith pulling in the pits in that bomber chassis.
He did not stop. He just did a drive-through.
So coming through the AMSOIL hot pits is Aaron Smith. And the Rigid Ridge, I hear some horsepower up there. That looks like it's Zandy Willems. And we're sitting on the Recaro Rise, patiently awaiting another car to come up.
I am definitely not going to be sitting by the end of this race.
So it sounds like Chad Hunt is going to just cross the finish line just to complete one more lap. And his power steering pump is out, so he'll finish one more lap and be done, as we just saw Vaughn Gittin Jr., a Nitto Monster athlete, head up the Recaro Rise.
And right before him, there was a car that went through. I'm thinking it was Cody Hardesty. It was a red. Oh, it might have been Casey Gilbert, actually. It was a red car. I couldn't tell the number on it, but it was red.
So there's Chad Hunt getting his another lap under his belt, but he is calling his day, I believe.
Well,
So
like we were
tough
saying,
break.
you cannot do this race without power steering.
Oh, no, these trees are way too tight. And remember earlier we said, hey, don't hit the camera guy. Well, he wasn't trying to. He just couldn't turn.
He couldn't steer, exactly.
So there's Casey Gilbert. He used to race the 4,800 class, but this is his first time. He's raced 4,400 before just for fun of it, but this time he didn't enter the 4,800 and is in 4,400.
So it was Casey Gilbert right before. Now here comes Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Vaughn Gittin on adjusted time does have Casey Gilbert, because Casey Gilbert started right in front of him.
Let's see if he takes that right line again, because earlier he was taking the left line in the 4,600 race. I love seeing what is their strategy, and it looks like he is going right again.
Yeah, when he was in the little Bronco, he took a left. When he's in the big Bronco, he takes a right.
Strategy of some sort.
Yeah, there are 8 either-ors on this 6.3-mile loop, 6-mile laps, 37.8-mile race.
That drop down right there is so awesome on that
wild, isn't it?
Yukon launch. There's Paul Wolf.
Frank Vonderheide, but here's our physical race leader, Paul Wolf, hitting the Yukon launch, and he is still all over the throttle. I know the car owner, Chris, is super excited, super nervous, but, hey, that's what you can do.
And he actually slowed down by 5 seconds, so that lap was a 12:47.490.
Where's Josh Blyler?
he-
There's Josh Blyler. So he is really picking up the pace. Josh Blyler starting to reel in Paul Wolf.
Paul Wolf was 5 seconds slower on that lap, so either Paul's just trying to conserve and then pick it up on the last lap like he did at Moab, or
he's in the trees with Josh Blyler, and that's not a good place to be.
Oh, and now Paul Wolf, he is behind the lap traffic right now
on
the Rigid Ridge.
Frank Vonderheide, you can see that.
Josh
on
Blyler
the
slowed down
Ridge.
as well.
But on adjusted time, he's still in the lead by 3 seconds. So everybody's starting to feel out their car a little bit.
Getting in a rhythm, and it's a long 6 laps. So what they're going to do is they're going to probably continue to conserve here just a little bit, like we were just saying, and pick it up on those last couple laps. I mean, they're out on lap 4 right now, so when they come through, they're getting a white flag next time.
Well, it's 6 laps, so they'll
that's right. I
have
keep
one more.
forgetting 5.
Yep.
Why do I keep thinking 5?
Because we had 5 laps earlier for the UTVs.
Okay. Did they
It all
change?
runs
Because we
together.
changed the laps on the UTVs from
Yep.
4 to 5. Did
Correct.
we change this one from 5 to 6?
Nope. It's always been
I
6.
have no idea what I'm thinking of. And there's
all
Paul.
good.
Here's
All
a great
over
passing
Vonderheide.
zone right here. He was probably all over his horn because Frank just pulled right on over.
And so how far back is Josh Blyler? Did that hurt Paul too much? I'm not sure.
Well, and now it depends on how far back Josh is, because Josh could now get stuck behind Frank in this single track. We shall see. It's so suspenseful.
And where Paul Wolf's going right now is where Levi Metzinger was talking earlier on how this is a really fun, flowy wood section that just really flows well and you can really carry some speed.
Looks like we have some awesome trails out there from up above how we're seeing this. It's so cool to see.
But from the bird's eye view, I still don't see Josh Blyler, so how far back is he?
That sounds like Josh Blyler up on Rigid Ridge right now.
So Paul Wolf at the top left of our screen. We're going to zoom out just a little bit to see how far back Josh Blyler. So
you can
there's
see.
there's Josh Blyler right behind Vonderheide,
I'm
and
looking
there's
at
an
either
or right there. Can Blyler get around Frank Vonderheide to get? I can't quite tell which car's which. But Paul Wolf is got to really turn up his game because this is Josh Blyler's neck of the woods. He loves this. Look at the FPV drone. Look at the dust.
And that is up on the Rigid Ridge, I believe. Oh, there's 2 racers, it looked like, right there. And you have Von Gittin came through as we were talking. It was him and Casey Gilbert are coming through. So Von Gittin has Casey Gilbert on time right now.
Yeah, Vaughn's right on Casey's heels, so we'll see if Vaughn can get around Casey. Casey's fast in the woods, but Vaughn's fast everywhere.
Exactly. And Casey won this last year in the 4,800 class.
You are correct. There's Cody Hardesty coming down the Yukon launch as we speak. So we'll head up the Bronco Hill and across the Rigid Ridge.
And Cody Hardesty just took that number 4 position from Casey. So Casey Gilbert's now in that 5th. So on corrected time, we have Josh Blyler in that number 1 spot. Paul Wolf, number 2. Von Gittin Jr., 3rd. Cody Hardesty, 4th. Casey Gilbert, 5th. Tad Dowker, 6th. Rusty Blyler, 7th. Chip McLaughlin, 8th. Zandy Willems, 9th. And Kyle Hathaway in the 10th position. So that's rounding out your top 10 right now. But we do have only 5 cars that are out on their 4th lap right now. And that is a great shot right there of Von Gittin Jr.
With Fun Haver Off-Road Team. And he
he's-
is right on Casey Gilbert's
You can
heels.
see how deep that.
Oh, he blows a corner a little bit or something.
Well, he just hit that rut pretty hard as well, too.
It's great to see Vaughn getting out here playing in the woods. He's an East Coast guy. His teammate Lauren Healy's out here just supporting because they're on their way to Jeep Beach to play with their Broncos.
They have a very busy schedule.
Oh, they are busy. Oh, so
906
there's Tad
with Tad,
Dowker
yes.
coming into the Amsoil Hot Pits with North Shore Racing.
I'm not sure what's going on with him. It doesn't look like he has any flats, but it looks like it might be going to pop his hood. Can't quite tell who that was on the
I
number.
believe that was Brian McVeigh.
Okay. Somebody came through right before him, too. I could not tell who it was.
I was chatting with Chad Hunt. We're going to bring him into the Nitto studio and see how his race was coming. So there is, I believe, Rusty Blyler.
Yes, it should be Rusty for sure.
Yep.
There we are, Mr. Rusty.
So Chad Hunt, you were out there running strong, but it sounds like you had some power steering issues. I hate to see you here in this Nitto studio with us.
Yeah, power steering pumps, they can be a big issue with us here with these RPMs that we turn.
And RPMs, you sling it with that supercharger, so it just burned it up, huh?
Yeah, I think so. We were running pretty good down that power line road, and then we dropped down some of the valleys that were tight, and you're off the RPMs, and when you can't turn around those rocks.
So right here, you actually came up here and almost took out our camera guy.
Yeah.
I was like, what's he doing? And then you came around and realized, oh, his power steering was not working very well.
Yeah, I had to keep the RPMs up pretty high to do it, and
turn,
at that point
yeah.
it becomes dangerous.
Yeah, so you're just having to keep her in a low gear and keep it singing, but it's not worth it. So
Nope.
tough break for sure.
Look at our time splits on the screen here between Josh Blyler and Paul Wolf. Their times are crazy right now.
And look, they got a leaf blower on Tad Dacker trying to cool him off a little bit.
Oh,
It's definitely warm in there, isn't it?
That's a trick we do. We do that when my kid races roundy round in Charlotte.
It's very warm out there, and it's Josh and Paul. Boy,
They're pushing the pace
they
strong.
are getting it. Josh wants it.
Yes,
Oh,
he
yeah.
does.
He wants it bad.
He
so-
wants to back up his win from last year, but
Yep.
Paul wants to back up his win from just a month ago.
Yep.
Well, it was
Exactly.
this month, wasn't it? I don't know. It all runs together.
What month
just a
are we
few
on?
weeks. It's April, and
I don't
think
know.
that race was in April.
Yeah, Moab was just like what?
Oh, it was
Yeah,
like
just
April
2 or 3
3rd
weeks
or
ago,
something,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah. The beginning of the month, yeah.
April 1st and 2nd, what we just heard in our ears. Yeah, we're so many different races that we're going to, and plus the Mid-America Short Course. It's like
They're
all
all
the weekends are
Just
running together.
busy, but I wouldn't
I
want
would
it
never
any other
change,
way.
exactly. I would never change a day of it.
No, it's nice. And now that the weather's warm, 'cause
Oh,
that
yeah.
918 was a little cold.
It looked
Yeah.
really cold. I'm not
Miles
gonna lie.
wasn't missing us at all.
No.
Yeah, no, I was getting sunburned.
Oh, no, I'm getting some signals from the car owner of
Chris
Paul
just
Wolf.
said Paul Wolf broke a tie rod, so it sounds like Paul Wolf is out of the race. That is a tough break.
And we have Chip McLaughlin
Chip's
back
out
there.
of the
What's
race,
going
too.
on?
So, Chad, I hate that you broke down, but we're going to bring Chip in and see how his day happened. But tough break, but glad to see you, and thanks again for everything, buddy.
And are you sticking around to watch the Rock Bouncers?
Oh, yeah. He's part of Team Indiana.
Oh,
They don't
yeah.
go home
They
early.
don't go nowhere.
Well, thank you so much, and bummer.
Yeah,
Bummer
so,
for
Chad,
sure.
thank you so much for the chat, and best of luck next time at your next race, buddy.
Bye. That was such a bummer to hear that about Paul.
So the attrition is setting in. We see Chad Hunt with a power steering issue. Sounds like Paul Wolf is out with a tie rod issue. And now Chip McLaughlin's in the booth. What are you doing in here, buddy?
You know, I didn't want to embarrass everybody and, finish in 30 minutes. So,
You just embarrassed yourself.
I did.
So what happened?
We broke an A-arm in half.
Oh, an
Oh, wow.
arm. What'd you hit it on a tree?
No, we took some risk and we're jumping some of those gap jumps, and there were some hard hits. And when we came in to do the gap jump here, it felt funny, landed, blew a tire, and Brad's like, I can see the tire, and I usually don't. So it broke it in half. So.
Gotcha.
I hate to hear that. You've had you won the 918 race. You had some pretty good success this year. You've been racing with us for a very long time. I hate to hear that, but hey, you guys put those cars through this paces, so
Yep.
they gotta get mad at you every once in a while.
Yeah, they got to fight back, and I wish it was a cool story, like I hit a tree or did something what Zandy would do.
But you don't do much school stuff, anyways.
No, I never make a highlight reel.
Oh, you make the highlight reel. That's for dang sure.
But it's a cool course. It's dusty, and we were making through, cutting through some dust, got around a few cars. But when the dust comes up, you can't see the trees or those ditches or whatever. So
right.
we did the best we could.
So chip happens, huh?
Chip happened. Yep, 100%.
Chip
But
happened.
remember to finish first. First, you must finish. You got to take a little bit easy next time, buddy.
Yeah, at least we get to watch these guys destroy their stuff on these hills tonight, and we'll pack up and get
Do you
ready
have
for
an
Tennessee.
extra A-arm to throw in your car to play with them?
No.
No,
not with
no,
us.
no.
But you would not do that.
No. We got a race here. We're not racing Stampede, but we're going to Tennessee, and we've got spare A-arms, but they're not here.
There's Brian McVeigh hitting the Yukon launch, heading out for another lap. So
So-
we are over halfway through this race, And Josh Blyler apparently will get around Paul Wolf since he's broke out on course 2. So this course is really starting to.
He was doing this and this. So I don't know if it's his steering or tie rod.
I could read his lips. He said tie rod.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Yeah, car owner Chris said, yep, tie rod, and he was bummed. But Paul Wolf had a great morning in the UTV winning that class. He was leading the race until he wasn't, like we all do.
Right.
But then he'll get in his rock bouncer Can-Am tonight and play with us too. So Paul Wolf will be back in action after a bit, but tough break. I was wondering if he could do back-to-back wins for his first Ultra 4 race. Would have been probably a first ever.
So I'm gonna take a guess here. I watched him come through the woods as we were doing the walk of shame back. I think.
Oh, that was you guys probably walking on
yeah.
camera.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
our car's about 100 feet from last year where we stopped.
Oh goodness.
Well, at least you're consistent.
So we know that trail back. But
Consistency is
I
key.
think Casey's gonna start moving up. He looked very fast when we saw him coming through there.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
right,
he's-
now, right now I'm beating Zandy still.
That's Liam Morris.
Who's coming in right now with the
That's
front
Liam
left.
Morris with a flat tire coming in the AMSOIL hot pits.
Yeah,
So-
there's definitely some gotchas out for the tires. We were trying to watch out for them, and our Maxxis tires did
We saw a
Look
lot
at-
of people coming in earlier with flat tires for sure.
a lot of front passenger.
Well, and you guys were actually helping out in the pit, so you
So
saw it.
so
Somebody just
speaking
came
of
through.
Zandy, now he's ahead of you, right?
Yeah, now he's going to move up. He's grooving on. This is his type of racing, and so he's out 7th from 17th. He started 16th, 17th.
He started in 16th.
Yep. So he's moving and grooving. He passed us, honked the horn, flipped us off as
Oh,
we
gosh.
were walking.
No, that was a wave.
Oh,
Wave
yeah,
of shame.
That's the way we tell each other. We
That's
love
how you
it.
guys say hi to each other.
So Liam Morris is getting a right front tire change in the AMSOIL hot pits.
So I'm wondering if Josh Blyler, because he is so much, well, I don't know, Von Gittin is picking up his lap times, but Josh Blyler could possibly lay off just a hair because Paul Wolf is now going to be out of the game.
And Cody Hardesty last year, he first started racing with us at AOP, and he's a young gun with that TMR car, and he's starting to move his way up. With Paul Wolf dropping out, he could be in the top 3. But like you said, Casey Gilbert, that you can never count him out. He's a woods racer. And obviously the course has started to take out a lot of cars. So are you saving the car? Because it used to be an endurance race, but now it's a sprint endurance.
This race, it's a sprint right
Look,
off.
see,
the
there's
bat.
your guys right
yeah,
there.
look at that. The
We,
Rufus guys jumping in to give all hands on deck.
We always help out. Like I told JT, the car's done. We're not out, just in case we got to go out on course.
Yeah,
or
because
do something
again,
like that.
Ultra 4 is a no-chase race, so nobody except for Ultra 4 and MAO crew other than fellow competitors. So I love your style that you told JT, I'm safe and sound. I don't want to be called out because I want to be out there to help my fellow competitor if needed. So class act, Chip. Appreciate that, buddy.
I told him his birthday elves were out there fixing the car up here.
There's Von
He's got to be
Gittin.
the oldest guy I know with as many birthdays as
He's
he
like a
has.
vampire. He's so old
Oh,
now.
yeah.
No, there's Von Gittin. He's still taking the right-hand lane on the Rush underpass there.
So we were going to start going to the left lane. We passed somebody there and came out about 2 car lengths ahead of him. I actually think the left line is faster by the pace that he was putting compared to what we were.
Okay.
But you get in that crack. Yesterday pre-run.
Yeah, you're so wide that you probably about get pinched in there,
We
don't
do
you?
get pinched in, and there's a tree in there that keeps you from trying to go up on the embankment to pass
Oh,
it.
to kind of go sideways.
Yeah, so you slide back
Now,
down in it.
Casey Gilbert was in front of Von Gittin, and we didn't catch to see if he was in front of him just now.
Well, I saw a car and then our camera froze, but I think it was Casey. So I
Okay.
think Von Gittin did get it around Casey Gilbert.
Okay.
I didn't realize many cars. I thought we were the first ones out, and I'm seeing people walking, but you can't see the cars out there with the dust and
Yeah,
they
it's-
get them
it's
off
pretty
the track.
gnarly.
So
So Josh Blyler went through. He hasn't slowed down too much because he's at a 12:39.040.
and he shouldn't, because anything you could get a flat.
So-
Whatever. He's got
Yeah,
2
exactly.
more laps.
Yeah,
And,
2 more laps to go for Josh Blyler to back up his win once again here at Rush, Kentucky for the 2022 Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash featuring Ultra 4 and America Pro Rock Racing presented by Mid-America Outdoors. So that is our physical and on-adjusted time leader, Josh Blyler.
And he's been adjusted time leader the whole entire race.
Yeah, he's been smoking all day long, and this is his race, but it's also his race to lose. But when we're coming out to the east with the tight trees, you always think of Josh Blyler.
Yeah, the funny thing is, the trees aren't what I'm worried about right now. Where you see him on camera right now, that's real off camber, and there's rocks in there, and especially if you get in the dust, it'll pitch you, and you might hit something that you didn't know was there, or you might even miss a turn.
especially because the dust. I mean, last year the mud was horrible, right? This
Yeah.
year the dust is horrible.
I mean, it was a lot like the hammers out in the desert. You know, we got in there and it blacked out.
Yeah.
And I was just hoping nobody would hit the back of us, but I was like, they can't see either.
There's Philip McJilton heading up, and Derek West's old car. He just got a brand new engine he put in that ride.
Yeah, this was a fun course the whole crew put together. I'm digging the live coverage. You know, most of us don't have cell coverage out here.
Oh,
and just
none,
to see
right?
This is amazing.
Yeah,
So,
I can't even send out a text to my wife unless I'm connected to the secret Wi-Fi right here during
Right.
the race. But then they bring it on a beautiful live show here in the middle of nowhere. It's amazing. As Frank Vonderheide coming through.
well, back to our wives back at home watching Big Edna, Ange, Lori, Kristen, Jen, all of them. Dougie Fresh didn't get to make out the trip with us
I
this
haven't
week.
seen him miss a race in a while.
Yeah, he had to work.
So you put him to work,
I
huh?
put him to work, yeah. And, the whole team back there, Vision, Maxis, without that crew eco staff, we couldn't come do this even when we break, but we still have a lot of fun, and there's more fun to be had today.
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to watch the rock bouncing later. And at 4 p.m., we do the 170 race with the kids' youth race.
I love
the
watching that.
future, I mean, they're the future of the sport, so it's great to see them come out here and play.
Yeah, it's fun, and then the bouncer that Brad won back at Visions last summer, it's back.
It's back, and
And,
I don't know if they've said it. I know who's driving it, but I'm not going to ruin it for everybody else. As we see Tad Dowker on screen right now.
I can tell you it won't be me.
You don't want to do that style of racing? Oh, we have Von Gittin coming in here right now with a right rear flat or a left rear flat.
So Von Gittin
See how
Jr. had
fast
a.
they changed that. So what place is he sitting in
He's
right now?
sitting
Fourth?
in fourth position right now.
And
But
he-
Paul Wolf, we got to remember, Paul Wolf is
Wolf-
not going to be. Casey Gilbert came through, Miles. He's
Yep.
in that number 2 position physically, or
So that's going to put Vaughn in third.
on adjusted time. Casey Gilbert's in second position.
Wow. So Casey Gilbert is going to get back around Von Gittin since he's in the Amsoil hot pits. So the team, the Fun Haver off-road team is
And
in
here's
here in the
Casey
pits.
Gilbert right here.
That's not.
No,
Casey.
that's not.
That is Cody Hardesty in the Amsoil hot pits just across from Von Gittin Jr.
And he's running right now in that number 5 position on corrected time.
So I've got my unofficial timer going. Von Gittin's right around that 40-second mark for changing this tire. These are huge 40-inch Nitto tires, trying to get everything swapped out. Von Gittin Jr. and Eric Davis patiently awaiting.
Oh,
He had a whole lot of fun out in that Bronco this morning. I was watching
Oh, yeah.
him.
Well, he won his class this morning in that Ford Bronco. And then they're going to take all these Broncos and head to Jeep Beach here over the weekend. So Von Gittin Jr. in and out and right around 1 minute out of the Amsoil hot
I
pit.
see your partner in crime walking this way.
It was his fault. It was on his side that we broke, so I wouldn't blame him. Yes, Andy's last lap, his fastest lap isn't too far off the pace.
No, it's not.
Anybody break into the 12s yet?
Yes.
12:39,
man.
yeah.
He must have got a lot of clean air.
And Paul Wolf, they were the only 2 that have been in the 12s.
Which lap was that?
Every lap, they upped their every lap
Oh, okay.
except
They're
for
going
Their second lap was a 12:38, was the fastest lap
Yeah.
of the day. For Josh Blyler. It's
Yeah,
been
and second
lightning fast.
also for Paul Wolf.
Tell him to get up here.
What a great day of racing we've had, and it's not over yet. We have another lap and a half to go for Josh Blyler. We'll see if he can back up his win here in Rush, Kentucky. We have Lauren Healy in here sneaking a little time split since he had to do a tire change. He's going to have to start shaking it up with Casey Gilbert.
He's playing crew chief this weekend.
Nice, see you guys. Y'all have a good time.
All
Thanks.
right,
We'll
Chip,
see you later
always a
on,
pleasure,
Chip.
buddy, and we'll hang out after a while.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Bye.
Sorry, it was all.
I gotta put his sweaty hair thing on. Oh, got the chippies.
So here comes Rusty
have
Blyler
Carol.
across. So now we have Lauren Healy. I seen you popping in the booth here, kind of doing a little split times because Von Gittin and Casey are really thrashing. Von Gittin was able to get around Casey, but then had that flat tire, so now he's got to play catch up again.
Yeah, definitely a great race going on. Bummer to see Paul out this early. He was putting down, him and Blyler were really banging. We were watching lap times within like 2 or 3 seconds of each other every time. And then Casey and Vaughn were, sitting about 30 seconds to a minute off of him.
And speaking about Blyler, look at that. Rusty just moved into third. So now Vaughn's going to have to turn it up to try to get around some of these straight axle cars. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, there's no surprise that there's 3 Miller cars sitting up in the front out woods racing. I mean, if you're surprised, you haven't been paying attention to Ultra 4.
We were talking about that yesterday, that they actually do have an advantage in the trees. They turn sharp, they're nimble, but then when you go out west with a car like yours, those IFS really shine.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about Ultra 4. We're unlimited. We can do whatever we want. Superchargers, horsepower, straight axle, IFS, all these different options. And, it's which one's the best for what event. You want to go to Crandon? You're going to take my IFS car every day. You want to come woods racing? You're going to take a Miller car.
Right.
Slauson builds his car straight for the rocks at King of the Hammers. It's what's so cool about Ultra 4.
And there's Philip McJilton heading up in that straight axle Jimmy's car as Brian McVeigh comes into screen, that number 270 wide open design machine. But yeah, so Vaughn's how's he feeling? Are you keeping in contact with him with that rugged race radio?
Yeah, no, he's doing awesome. He's doing a good job. He's staying calm. Don't make that mistake out here. When you're in a big IFS car with, big body and visibility isn't necessarily the best in the trees, that's what we talked about. Don't make that big mistake. Don't give too much adjusted time and be there at the end. This race is so short, though. I mean, and it's going to be an hour and 15 minutes-ish. This is one of the shorter races we ran out in a while. So
yeah, it's a 6-lap race, 6.3 miles per lap, 37.8 miles in total, and they're going fast.
They are. Everybody's sprinting right now, so it's going to be exciting to see how these last 2 laps turn out.
And we were talking, I was saying, I wonder if Josh would kind of let up just a little bit because he has a lead and Paul is not in there, but why would you, as they were saying, because if he gets a flat out on course, there's this, key seconds that could mess him up and cost him the lead.
Yeah, it was fun watching Paul run so strong, but he broke, and that's part of it. Everybody has those days, but it's been I'm excited to see Paul Wolf come into the mix racing. I mean, you mixed him up with him in Moab, and it's cool to have another fast guy added to the mix.
Yeah, I was saying that this is going to be a learning experience for him because coming from the back with adjusted time, that with years of experience, it's so hard to figure out that pace as the Rabbit.
We were talking about that to him yesterday. He was nervous about it, but
it's tough because you're trying to get adjusted times. You're trying to, I was doing that same thing in Moab with him of, how hard do you push to make that big mistake, or do you, try to check out from everybody and break a tie rod when you're trying to check out from everybody? Yep. But Josh was keeping them very honest. I mean, Josh is a very experienced racer. I've done this with Josh in the trees before, and he just keeps it right there behind. You see him in the mirror on every corner, but he wasn't, making that fatal mistake. And
he was
Josh
driving,
does what Josh does.
He was driving his own race, and he could see Paul, so he knows if I can see him, I've got him on time. So as long as I can keep him right there, and then obviously push him a little hard, and must have caught a tree or something.
Yeah, I was timing him on split times. They were like a second apart.
Every 3 seconds.
It was wild. Yeah.
So there's Rusty. I couldn't tell. That was a Blyler. I couldn't tell if it was Rusty or Josh. Probably Rusty Blyler.
I'm pretty sure it was Rusty.
That's on adjusted time in that third position.
One of those Muddy Miller cars.
They must not have used their secret sauce this year on their cars because you can't tell who it is on the side now.
Well, it's dusty too, so that dust turns into everything. It's just Rush, Kentucky.
That is very, very true. And that right there is a great shot of the course. Did you go out pre-running it all with them?
I didn't. I stayed where it was nice and clean in here.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, because you don't like the mud.
Yeah, you've been there, done that.
I'm a prima donna. I'm not hiding that.
At least you can admit it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it when you can, give yourself some grief. You can't make fun of yourself. What are you doing, right?
Right. Absolutely.
That's funny.
Absolutely.
No, it's a fun course out there for sure, though. But you've been out here, as you were saying, you've been out here on the trails, so you've seen them. You don't need to go out and get dirty.
Yeah, no, I've wheeled this park. EB has an amazing park out here at Rush. I really enjoyed it. We did some Bronco scouting out here and some Bronco activities, and it's awesome out here.
So that's recently you were out here. I didn't know that.
It was probably about a year ago.
Okay, a year ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Right when you first got the Broncos.
Yep. Yeah, we were we were involved with the Bronco Off-Rodeo program. When you buy a Bronco, you get to experience a Bronco Off-Rodeo where we come and teach you all about it and show you all the technology.
The bells and whistles.
We want the people that have never off-roaded before. We want to give them the tools and get them to come out and inspire them to get out into nature and where the Bronco was built. So we checked out 20 spots all across the country. It ended up being a total of 4 spots as of right now, which is Vegas, Moab, Texas, and Vermont. But this was one of the spots we checked out, and it may expand here later. It was really cool to be a part of.
And I saw you just playing in West Virginia here recently too, right?
Yeah. So Vaughn has some cabins, which is only about an hour and a half south of here, down on the Hatfield-McCoy Trail system.
Cool.
And so we were coming out here. We were coming for Jeep Beach. We were coming to race in Kentucky, and he's like, "Hey, I got cabins. Let's go out here and do some trees riding." And so we got some new Kawasaki's and brought them out here, and man, that was awesome.
Yeah,
It's
it looked
fun.
like you
That's
had a
a
lot
fun
of fun.
trail.
It was wild. We were driving like 100 to 150 miles a day on dirt on the trails out
Just
there,
cruising.
and not seeing anything.
That's hardly touching them.
No, it's
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. Is it like 500 or 800
It's
miles
old.
of trail
I'm not-
system?
That's where my husband's actually out right now. He's
Okay.
out riding those trails.
Yeah, it's rad. It's
Yeah.
super cool out here.
So let's do a top 5 really quick. We have Josh Blyler in that number 1 position, Casey Gilbert in number 2, Rusty Blyler 3rd, Vaughn Gittin Jr. 4th, and Philip McGilton in that 5th position. Those are all on adjusted time. So we should be next lap around getting that white flag. Super exciting for these guys.
Quick race, crazy.
It is very
there's
quick.
Tad Dowker and
Tad Dowker has not came through in quite a while. Is that 4?
so Liam Morris and Tad Dowker on screen.
I was going to say, was that the 40? It looked like number 40.
He's new to our sport, so I keep dropping that name. I do apologize. But that could be Casey Gilbert. Well, it's a Miller car. It looks reddish. So, yeah, that's Casey Gilbert.
It's a red-brown.
White flag for Josh. Was that just Josh that came through?
So he's dropping down the Yukon launch as we
There it
speak.
is.
So Josh Blyler gets the white flag. 1 lap to go. 6.3 miles left in this race for Josh Blyler. It is absolutely his race to lose. Can he hold it together? It's looking good for Josh Blyler. As we see Zandy Willems dropping down. He is a lap down, and we'll be heading into the Amsoil Hot Pits.
He actually slowed down quite a bit, too. That lap was a 13:12. That's the first time he's turned a lap in the 13s this whole
Well,
race.
he's playing it smart. So, Lauren, you're more than welcome to hang out, but if you want to head back and do a check out, I don't blame you at all.
Yeah.
He's in the shade here.
No, I mean, we got our Nitto Easy up over there in the pits. We're doing in good shape over there. But no, thank you so much for having me on, and
Yeah.
hi to everybody back at home. And we'll see you at Prairie City here in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
All right, Lauren, always a pleasure. Appreciate it, buddy.
See you guys.
Bye.
So what a race we have. Josh Blyler just took out on his 6th and a final lap. As we're watching the Yukon launch, who's coming behind him? Is it going to be Casey Gilbert, Rusty Blyler? Where's Vaughn Gittin Jr.? Philip McGilton has a really good day under his belt.
He does.
So the top 3 right now are all Miller Motorsports chassis cars. Eric Miller got 2nd here last year. He didn't come out to race, but he's got to be proud to see all 3 of his cars so far doing well. As Zandy Willems and Rufus Racing getting that right rear tire swapped out. So the Amsoil Hot Pits has definitely been busy today.
Yes, they have. I actually didn't expect them to be as busy as they are, but they have been very busy today with, obviously we've been seeing them, but the right side has been the majority side of, well, no, there was a lot of lefters too. It's
Yeah.
kind of a toss-up maybe.
I was talking to Ryan Taylor earlier and kind of busting his chops a little bit. It's like, man, you came through and got a lot of spare tires. He's like, there's one rock out there, and I knew where it was every time, and I just mentally mistaked and just kissed
Hit
it
it.
wrong. So there's a rock out there because I was thinking it was a bunch of stumps or tree
Right.
roots, and obviously that can be the issue. But he said there's one rock out there that bit him twice.
Gotcha. I know when I was out on race course with JT, I was like, there was a rock, and I'm like, that's definitely one that could definitely get a tire. I don't know where, I can't remember where at on course it was, but it was going to get one. There's a Blyler right there. I believe that is
Rusty Blyler,
Rusty,
the
yes.
Happy Pappy, heading up the Recaro Rise. So he's about a mile and a half out to head out on his last lap. There comes Tad Dowker and then Zandy Willems out of the Amsoil Hot Pits.
So
He's
Tad
a lap
Dowker,
down,
yeah.
I believe. Yes, so Josh Blyler's the only one out on his last lap. And this is a grand freestyle finish, so once the checkered flies, everybody behind him gets the checkered flag, regardless if they're a lap down or not.
Well, and Casey Gilbert, he qualified right behind Josh Blyler, so he's really going to have to step it up if he wants to try to get that number 1 spot today.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild finish, but Josh Blyler is looking good. But the Happy Pappy, I'm excited for him. There's Liam Morris coming down, and that Jimmy's chassis. So
6:18, that's
so
Mr.
Casey
Casey.
Gilbert right behind, coming through strong. So Casey Gilbert physically in second position. We'll see how it shakes out on adjusted time. But Casey Gilbert, a great run under his belt. And
Ooh,
look at that.
pass.
Liam Morris, the sportsman as he is, knows that he's a lap down, pulls over. Casey Gilbert gets right around. And Casey Gilbert's got to be super, super excited right now. So 6:18, Casey Gilbert physically in second position and on adjusted time for now. We'll see how it all shakes out.
He is 3 minutes and 16 seconds behind Josh Blyler.
What a wonderful day it has been. Like you said, the split time's pretty good. What was the split time? It looks like 3 minutes.
3 minutes and 16 seconds.
Wow, so Josh Blyler really has this wrapped up as long as he can keep the car together. So I know the Big B Motorsports team is telling him, hey, back it down a little bit. You got a 3 minute time gap. Finish this race strong, but don't overdrive.
And, all three of them, they pit together and everything, too.
Oh, yeah.
So
they're all
you got
buddies.
1, 2,
Yep.
and 3, all, one ginormous team for the most part.
Yeah, they're all helping each other out and keeping split times within themselves and having some fun camaraderie amongst it.
Exactly.
So, again, a huge shout-out to Can-Am, Ford, Bronco, Monster, Optima, Four-Wheel Parts, Progressive, Mid-America Outdoors, the Off-Road Syndicate, Holly, Lasernut, Griffin, VP, Nitto, King, Ultimax Belts, King of the Hammers, Amsoil, Method, Axial, 360 Wraps, Rugged, Spider Tracks, Recaro Seats, Baja Jerky, Raceline Wheels, ARB, Rigid, Brannick, Tread Lightly, Action Sports Canopy, Off the Grid, MBRP, Yukon, HCR, Warren, and Factor 55. So please support who supports the sport. Without all of these wonderful partners, we would not be racing here today.
So we will see Vaughn Gittin Jr. That puts him in the number 3 position where he is at right now on adjusted time.
So he has bumped out Rusty
Blyler.
Blyler. But, hey, Rusty Blyler hasn't crossed that line. So once
Exactly.
Rusty crosses through, because Rusty started in 7th position, so a minute and a half behind 2 minutes behind Vaughn Gittin Jr. No, minute and a half, yes.
And there's an awesome view, an aerial view of, we are in zone 4, which is what they're showing on screen right there. Like
the
we were talking
horseshoe
about.
hauler on the
Exactly.
left. And again, this is the 10th annual anniversary bash, and this is the 7th year it's sold out, and it showed you this place is packed. So who wouldn't want to race in front of a packed house? As Vaughn Gittin Jr. with Fun Haver Off-Road Team pushing through with that wide body IFS machine.
And that looks like a fun section there as well. I remember when we were out on race course out marking, that was a fun section too. Like Levi was talking about earlier, he likes this section right here where they make the right-hand turn.
Yeah, it's kind of a flowy section.
Yes.
You can really pick up some speed. There's some little floaters. There's some drifters, and it's a lot of fun. And right here is where they were talking about having some issues.
Oh, there Rusty Blyler just went through.
So
Let's see what that puts him at.
Time, where we going to be? And speaking about adjusted time, you can go to live.ultra4racing.com for the same live timing we're watching.
So right now, Vaughn Gittin Jr. still has that number 5 position, or the number 3 position on adjusted time. So it has changed up. We have Josh Blyler in that number 1 position, Casey Gilbert into Vaughn Gittin Jr. 3rd, and Rusty Blyler in that 4th position on adjusted time. And he is actually a minute 40 behind Vaughn Gittin Jr.
So Rusty's really going to have to pick up the pace trying to bump off Vaughn Gittin. So Vaughn Gittin, even after that tire change, he really stepped it up. Because remember, he just turned a 13.16.
Yeah, he was a 13.16,
that's
3:15.
a quick run.
And his fastest lap was on his 3rd lap at a 13:04. So he has not broke that 13 mark at all today.
The fastest lap of the day thus far is Josh Blyler with a 12:38, and I think that's going to stick because he's definitely playing it safe.
And they were just showing one of the areas that is, I believe that was Big Edna they were showing. It was definitely a steep uphill for sure.
Yeah, the Recaro Rise has been a lot of fun to watch. That looks like a Miller car, so that must be Rusty Blyler, the Happy Pappy, with Shane Erdman riding shotgun. It's kind of cool. Josh has Jared and Rusty has Shane, both Erdman brothers, riding shotgun with both of them. So cars are very similar. It's father son driving cars, brothers shotgunning for them. The Big B Motorsports crew is a great group of characters. And speaking about characters, they've got Vince, they've got Barry, they've got a whole slew of people in the pits.
Yeah, they have a great group. All of them, like you saw, the Rufus Racing was helping out in other pits earlier, changing tires and doing the jack, and they were having trouble getting their tire off. So everybody likes to help everybody out, and when you have a larger pit crew, it also makes it easier to let people go help another pit, because sometimes people, if they're running close, it's hard to go help the other teammates.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to beat them at their best out on course, but you're going to help them in the pits. But if you're side by side, I'm going to help my guy first.
Right, exactly.
Again, if you're just tuning in, we thoroughly appreciate each and every one of you. This is the 2022 Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash presented by Mid-America Outdoors. This has been Ultra 4 Racing at its finest, but tonight we still have the America Pro Rock Racing Knockout racing, and that starts at 6 p.m. But before that, it's at 4 p.m. We have the 170 kid race. It's going to be a lot of fun. They are the youth of our sport. It's great to see them. I think we'll have 5 kids out there racing. I think they're going to do, a 6-lap race. That's what I've got written down at least. So it'll be fun to watch them out there. I know Chris May got his daughter. We got Hewing out there. We've got a few kids out there going to have some fun, and that's what Mid-America and Ultra 4 is all about, is the full family affair. And speaking about family, I need to give out a shout out to Bailey, Jade, Nella. I have had limited service out here, so I apologize. I love you, and I'll see you in just a few days.
And if you're wanting to find out what the results are from our past races today, you can also find those out on the live.ultra4racing.com website. It tells you our live timing, but you can also put in what race you're wanting to see. So I see people are asking questions about what the results are for other races. So you can go onto that site and check it out. Miranda Shirley is saying, great work,
and
great
that's
coverage.
Levi Shirley's wife. Cool to see she's tuned in. Thank you. And we missed the whole Lucky Dog crew, but we know we'll see you at another race here very soon. And you can see just behind us, between the Optima and the Can-Am flag, that is where the Knockout Racing is going to go, just behind us. We'll have Aaron hop in here, one of the Pro Rock experts, and I may join in and give him a little chit-chat with him, but I'm excited to see some rock bouncing later on tonight.
Definitely going to be fun to watch for sure.
But it has been a wonderful day of racing. We did take a little bit of lunch break, which was kind of nice, get everything reset, and everything's flowed amazing this whole week. The Mid-America and Ultra 4 team has really done a great job, as well with the whole production team. They've been doing a lot of great things out here to be bringing you a live show from the middle of nowhere. Pretty amazing.
So Ralph is saying, solid axle for the win. Go Josh Blyler.
Yeah, Ralph's raced with us before. Yeah. He's from over the pond.
Oh, my husband chimed in on our Facebook page. They're live. I'm watching on the trail from West Virginia. A large group is listening and watching.
And that's the Hatfield and McKellar Trail, right?
Yes,
that's cool. They're pulled over. They're enjoying their little trail ride, but watching some Ultra 4 racing. Pretty cool.
Because the people that he's with, they're big racing fans as well, so that's awesome. Desert racers. Yes, Paul is out of the race, unfortunately.
There's Liam Morris, I believe, still cruising along in that Jimmy's chassis. He's in a solid axle machine. He'll be heading our way here very shortly. So it does sound like Paul hit a tree. We assume that by a broken tie rod. So thanks, Curtis, for that update. But, yeah, it sounds like he blew the front passenger tire and tie rod. So tough break for Paul Wolf. He was having a great run, but he had Josh Blyler behind him pushing him, and that's part of it. And that's what we were talking about, the Can-Am versus the UFO. They're definitely different machines on width-wise and not. So, just racing happens.
All right. Hi, Angela. She's watching from Dallas. That is Mr. Rufus's wife right there.
Angie's tuned in, part of Rufus Racing. We'll get a white flag for the 4406 of Chris Branton here very shortly as he comes down with those huge USD
tires.
sickies.
I was standing next to those the other day, and I could not believe they're just like monster truck tires.
And he skips down the Yukon launch.
So as soon as whoever is the leader coming through next, because we assume it'll be Josh just because he's been leading, but it's not over yet, they will be getting – someone's coming through at the right rear flat, it looks like.
And that is a Miller car. Is that Josh Blyler, our leader?
It looked like a right rear flat. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, this will be a checkered flag for Josh Blyler. Is he going to be able to back up his win from last year? It's looking good. Josh Blyler unofficially just won this race. We'll see how it shakes out on adjusted time, but it's looking good for Josh Blyler, a former king at King of the Hammers.
So he picked it up a little bit on that last lap, but it definitely was up in the 13-minute mark, so it was a 13:03.375.
And here comes Philip McGilton. I believe he'll be a lap down, but he had a great run. So Josh Blyler with one heck of a run. There's Mr. Gus Fisher himself, keeping everything running good. He's the main honcho behind all the MAO crew, and he's done an amazing job, and it's really been a lot of fun working with him. Here's Brian McVeigh.
I've got his car down.
We're getting her good,
Yeah.
Pam. Good on you.
Looks like he might, his front bar or his light was a little tilted. I'm wondering if he might have saw a tree. Or tree
I
jumped out
think
in front
if
of him.
more than one person's seen a tree out there.
Yeah. So whoever that is, they're taking a little bit slow. That was
May have
Cody
been
Hardesty.
Yep, Cody.
So as of right now, everybody's getting a checkered flag because our leader
Yep.
has came in.
And we'll be racing some 170s here in about an hour and a half, but we'll be getting rid of some more amazing laser nut trophies here in just a little bit. So thanks again to Cody Wagner and company. And if we're going to thank everybody, let's thank Jason and Gayla Robinette with Mid-America Outdoors. They've done a lot of amazing things this year thus far, and they are only getting started. We need to thank E.B. Lohman and his entire staff here at Rush Off Road. I want to personally thank all of the volunteers, park staff, MAO, all the medical and safety crew. There's a lot of people. So if you see one of these guys or gals in a vest, give them a handshake, give them a high five, and tell them thank you. As we see Tad Dowker back on course, really running strong in that Trent Fab machine.
Ryan Rockhold's watching. He's in Colorado. He's a part of that Rufus Racing crew when they're all together.
He had a fun run there in Moab.
Yes.
We had a good time there racing with Ryan Rockhold. Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Jason Watt, he's watching on his drive home. He was here earlier.
I saw him, so he's already bailed out of here.
Yeah.
He got the UTV race out, and he's like, I'm out of here.
A lot
I'm
of
going to watch
drivers
it on my
had to get
drive home. Yeah.
He always watches from his drive home. He's always chiming in, saying great coverage to us. So that's awesome. All right, let's see.
Brendan Thompson was
Yes.
tuned in. He's got a car very similar to Paul Wolf, but Paul Wolf had some issues.
So we shall see. We're waiting on Casey Gilbert, Vaughn Gittin Jr., and Rusty Blyler. That's where we're waiting to see who's going to be second, third, and fourth.
The top four are going to be close because Philip McGilton finished, but he's a lap down. So I think it's going to be between Casey Gilbert, Vaughn Gittin Jr., and Rusty Blyler. And I think it's going to be Casey Gilbert and Vaughn Gittin. We'll see how it shakes out.
Philip McGilton has crossed. Brian McVeigh has got the checker flag. Cody Hardesty.
But they are the ones you're saying are all a lap down.
Right, exactly. Yes, so Cody Hardesty is in also, and Tad Dowker. So, yes, they are all a lap down, but they are in checkered flag. But the other ones that are out on course right now still that we're waiting to come in is Casey Gilbert, Vaughn Gittin Jr., Rusty Blyler, Christopher Branton, to see where the rest of the podium
We'll see how the
pans
cookie
out.
crumbles.
Exactly.
But what a wonderful day it has been. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. Get on the MAO app. Download that. We have that on Google and on Apple. Go to ultra4racing.com/live. Get on the Ultra 4 and MAO Facebook and YouTubes. Share it. Start a watch party. Hashtag it up. Get on the social media. If you have any of the great pictures. Oh, is that it? Casey Gilbert? It is. He has got a great run going. I'm super proud to see him throw some 40s on there and mix it up with the big boys.
He is 4 minutes behind Josh Blyler, finishing right now unofficially on corrected time in that number 2 spot.
He rode with his son Aiden this morning, and now he just finished unofficially in second position. It's going to be super, super close between Casey Gilbert and Vaughn Gittin Jr. Vaughn Gittin Jr. has to come in within 30 seconds of Casey because of adjusted time. So where's Vaughn Gittin? If I don't hear him yet, it's not looking good for Vaughn. He could still tie up at third, but it's looking like Casey Gilbert may have just locked down second position unofficially.
So we'll see if it's going to be Vaughn Gittin or Rusty Blyler. Or who knows, Christopher Branton. You never know.
And there is Vaughn
There he
Gittin Jr.
is.
giving it all the wood all the way across the finish line. So on adjusted time, nope, it does look like Vaughn Gittin gets third position. So he did have to come in to change a tire, so that may have been what it cost him, because it was about a 1 minute tire change, and he lost by 56 seconds.
Getting that second position by 56 seconds.
Yep. So unofficial, it's going to be Josh Blyler, Casey Gilbert, then Vaughn Gittin Jr. How far back was Rusty Blyler? So I guess we still have a minute and a half before we can officially call Vaughn Gittin third.
Exactly.
But it's looking like Vaughn's probably going to tie it up because he had a little bit of a lead over over Rusty.
What a great day, though. Podium on 2 different races in the same day.
What a great day of racing it's been for everybody.
And we'll be going into the 170s later on. It's going to be so much fun. The course is actually right behind us here.
That is going to be Aaron Smith coming down the Yukon launch as we speak. He's another lap down, but I have a great race with him in that Bomber chassis. So we were talking with Lauren earlier that we all talk about straight axle versus IFS, and this definitely favors a straight axle. So for Vaughn to do so well, it's such a great job.
All right, it sounds like it has been called official. Mr. Josh Blyler is the winner of the 4400 race. Casey Gilbert in second, and Vaughn Gittin Jr. in that third position.
So congratulations to those top three. What a great, great race we had today. It's been great racing all day long, and for Josh Blyler to take that win. Casey Gilbert for his first time really stepping into the 4400. He's done it before, but that's just because his car was still alive after the 4800.
Exactly.
Well, he saved this car and only raced 4400. And remember, he's got a single shot compared to the bigger cars. But, again, I didn't think that was a huge disadvantage. Oh, and here comes Rusty Blyler.
Here
So
we
he's just
are.
going to be about 30 seconds off the pace.
Bummer.
But Rusty Blyler, the happy pappy, coming across the line, unofficial fourth position, and completely skips the Yukon launch.
So it puts him in that number 4 position. Now, he had a flat tire earlier as well when he came in, I believe, correct?
So what's the split time between him? Is that 2 minutes?
So he was 2 minutes, 10 seconds behind Vaughn Gittin, but 7 minutes and 7 seconds behind Josh, the winner.
So his son Josh beats him by 7 minutes and 7 seconds after over an hour and a half of racing.
Wow, what a day. It's not over.
It is not even close to being over. We still have the Kids 170 race at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And then at 6 p.m. we kick off the America Pro Rock Bouncing.
Was Andy Willems right there?
No, that is going to be Liam Morris, I
Liam
believe.
Morris, okay.
Or Vanderhyde. And there's our top three sitting there at the podium stand. So we'll throw it down to Joey Beck here in just a moment and give away some of those Laser Nut trophies. So it looks like, Joey, it's your show, buddy.
All right, coming to Joey in 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys, I'm down here in the winner's circle. These guys just pulled up. I'm ready to go talk to our third place finisher. We're going to be heading this way. Guys, y'all get ready to talk to me. Vaughn Gittin Jr., y'all get loud. So, Vaughn, for some of these people at home and for some of the people here, this is the second time you're on the podium today. I want you to tell these guys, how did the Ford Bronco perform out there in these tight woods?
It was absolutely insane. Lauren tried to prepare me. I've never really done a woods race like this. And it was just a straight sprint from the start to the finish. It was sketchy. Every time we went through those tree sections, they were going by a little faster. And, I was just trying to, be cautious, but not be cautious. And, we earned third place. I'm pumped. We started off the line fourth, so gained a position. Had a really good battle with Casey going for a while and gotten some lap traffic and dust and wasn't really willing to take the risk because those canyons are pretty far off from the top. So. But I had a blast. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. What a rad event. Hope y'all are having half as much fun as we are, and much love. Thank you.
Well, I know we're sitting here beside the Netto tires, and you've got your whole setup here at Fun Haver. Do you got anybody you want to thank back at home or some of these companies that help you do what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Monster Energy, Ford Performance, Netto Tire, Optima Battery, Project X Lights. We've got an amazing group of partners that support us, K&N Filters. And, we couldn't do it without them. And we also couldn't do it without everybody that's here. And, supporting us, just putting out love and checking out what we do, liking and commenting on social. So thank you all so very, very much. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the party tonight.
That's right. Vaughn Gittin, get loud. Great job. All right. I'm moving over here. Somebody said that he parked in a place that didn't have sand for the first time ever. My man, Casey Gilbert, holding it down in the number 2 position. Y'all get loud. First 4,400 race.
That was fun. Intense race. Josh pulled away on us, but our crew kept telling us Vaughn was right behind us, and I just kept trying to keep a good gap on him. I knew we just had to put 30 seconds on him here at the end.
So tell me, your last lap, was that where you turned it on, or when did you start picking the pace up to make sure you had that gap?
Second to last lap. I think Vaughn came into the pits, and we put a little bit of gap on him just because he was in the pits, and we tried to just maintain that through the last 2 laps.
Well, man, I'm telling you, you had a crew down here cheering you on. Everybody's happy to see you make this move into 4,400. Do you have some sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, absolutely. First, my crew that helps put the car together, especially Nate. He jumped in co-driver this weekend for me. He spends countless hours on this thing. My brother Cameron, my wife at home. My kids jump in and help. But Nitto Tire, Big B, Miller Motorsports, Mark from Dynamic, he's at every race with us. I'm trying to read my brother's shirt over here. Rugged Radios, Fox, Collins, Yukon Gear, Warren, Magnitude Suspension. It's a big group effort, and without all of our friends here with us, we can't do it, so I want to thank them the most.
All right. Y'all give it up. Casey Gilbert. All right. We're moving over. Y'all see it on the side, Big B Motorsports. These guys are smiling from ear to ear. We're happy to have them here. Josh Blyler, the number 1 man on the box.
Thank you. This was a hell of a race. The trees in the mud, this is our thing. We love it. It's just where we excel. Like Casey said, it's a family deal. It's all buddies and friends, and the crew that we have is absolutely amazing. Couldn't do it without them. We left this race. Paul's been absolutely killing it, and we didn't know if we could hang with him or not. So we just kind of stuck with him and gave him some pressure and hoped something would happen. And one of us probably wasn't going to make it at the pace we were running. So it worked out. We found Paul broke, unfortunately, and that sucks. I just kind of wanted to finish off with him and see if we could hang with him because that guy is killing it. He is super fast. But thanks for the event. Thanks for you guys for kicking this off. The vibes have been awesome. The events are great. I'm looking forward to what you guys grow with this and really excited what happens. Guys I got to thank is Big B Manufacturing and Hetran B. Those are our companies at home. Those are the guys that work hard every day so we can come do this dumb stuff. Mark from Dynamic, like Casey said, he comes to every race and supports us. Radial Dynamics, those guys have been killing it for us. We've always had steering problems till we got Amato involved. This thing has no problems. We can just turn it like a tractor all day long and do what we got to do. Nitto Tires, these are the best tires on the market. They just kick ass. Method, Spider Tracks, everybody that supports us, we appreciate it, especially the crew. Couldn't do it without you.
All right, I got one more thing I want to tell everybody. Is it official or unofficial? Right now, I'm getting word you also want additional money as the fast lap in all the big cars. Y'all give it for the man with the fastest lap all day out of all classes. All right, guys, I'm here to tell you, Nitto Tires, 1, 2, 3. It's absolutely amazing. We've had a blast out here. Y'all get out of the car. Let's celebrate, take some pictures. Miles, I'm going to send it back up top to you guys.
Well, thank you, Joey. Yeah, like you said, a Nitto sweep for Josh Blyler, Casey Gilbert, and Vaughn Gittin Jr. One heck of a race. And I'm going to go back to Josh Blyler saying average guys having above average fun. The Big B Motorsports crew does an amazing job. They're all giving each other high fives. It has been another amazing finish to an amazing day of racing. But we still have some great racing yet to come.
Yes.
So we'll give you our top 10 for the 4,400. We'll go Frank Vonderheiden 10th.
And 9th was Tad Dowker.
In 8th, we go Cody Hardesty.
7th position, Brian McVeigh.
In 6th position, Christopher Branton.
In 5th position, Philip McGilton.
In fourth spot, Rusty Blyler.
And third position, Vaughn Gittin Jr.
In second place, Casey Gilbert.
In that number 1 spot, the number 41 of Mr. Josh Blyler.
And that was a great finish. Josh pushed all the way to the finish line, and Paul Wolf was on fire until he wasn't. But, hey, that's the cliche saying. That's racing.
That is racing there. Mr. Rusty Blyler going behind us here. But what a great day this has been. We are still going to go live for the little 170s. It is about an hour and 10 minutes away before they will start. But it is super awesome to see the kids that will be on live. So make sure you guys tune back in or stay tuned in with us here. But what a great day. Josh had a great day.
Everybody's had a great day. I've had a great day. You've had a great day. I hope you guys have been having just as much fun as we have, because it's been just a wonderful, wonderful day of racing here for the 2022 Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash featuring Ultra 4 American Pro Rock presented by Mid-America Outdoors. So we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back after this.
It's time for electric to turn into lightning. An electric truck that can haul on both ends, that can help build your house, and if need be, power that house. That feels like a bullet train and works like a freight train. The fully electric F-150 Lightning.
So bad. It's not just a hobby. It's not just something we do on weekends. It's how we live every day.
Can we go out and play?
I needed to try. Needed to fall. I needed your love. I'm finding a way. I need never get old.
Welcome back to the 2022 Rush Off-Road Anniversary Bash presented by Mid-America Outdoors. We just wrapped up the Ultra 4 racing, but we still have the Kids 170 here at 4 p.m., and then we have the America Pro Rock racing at 6 p.m., and it'll be going through the night. We'll have some live music. We have lots of great things to go. Again, I am Miles Haskell, Pam Hall. It's been a great day of racing. Again, I hope you have enjoyed it just as much as we have. Pam, it's been a wonderful day.
It's been a wonderful day. The weather was awesome. Obviously, we are in the shade. There's a lot of people that are not in the shade, but it's a great day. I can't wait to see the kids, and I cannot wait to see the Pro Rock racing tonight.
Yeah, so we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're about an hour away from kicking off the Kids 170 race. So it's going to be a wonderful evening, so do not go anywhere. Remember, everything is Eastern time, so at 4 p.m. Eastern time, the kids race, 6 p.m. Eastern time, the rock bouncing stuff. So be sure to stay tuned in off and on all night long. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful evening. And again, I just can't personally thank you guys enough, guys and gals enough, for tuning in and letting us do what we do. So we'll take a quick break, and we'll see you guys here after a little bit.
Really thankful to have VP Fuels on board.
UTV 96 is like perfect in these things, makes them rip.
It ran cool, it ran strong.
We got into those rock sections where we really needed that throttle response, and it was right there every time.
We run all VP lubricants. We haven't had any problem with any kind of leaking or any kind of heating issues.
And in the State Frosty, no drama. Temperature stayed under 200 the entire race.
Bronco, an American classic, returns. And it only gets better when it's outfitted with the right gear. From bumpers to winches, rigging accessories, suspensions, body armor, and wheels. You need a full array of gear to outfit your Bronco for adventure. Get them now at Warn.com.
Hello and welcome. Breathe, relax, and enjoy the meditation. Provided by Yukon Gear and Axle.